free on the Clipper Fast Ferry and stay at a charming downtown hotel. Up to 20% off. Save during Clipper Spring Sale at frsclipper.com.
I've always been an athletic guy, but after turning 40, I noticed I was slowing down. I booked a free testosterone check with Revive Health and learned that low T doesn't just impact my performance in the bedroom. I've been following a custom treatment plan ever since, and today I'm feeling stronger and more confident than ever.
If you're ready to book your free T-check, text BOOST to 65555 or visit ReviveMensHealth.com to schedule your appointment. Message and data rates may apply. Message frequency varies. Text help for help. Text stop to cancel. See privacy policy at ReviveMensHealth.com/privacy policy. For info on how opt-in info will be used and terms and conditions at ReviveMensHealth.com/terms of use for terms of short code service.
Imagine finding your dream home and moving in right away. No waiting to sell your old place first. Sounds perfect, right? That's exactly what Orchard's Move First, Sell Later program lets you do. Buy your new home now and sell the old one later on your timeline. No showings, no double moves. Plus, Orchard handles all home repairs for you, attracting buyers. Buy before you sell and get top dollar with Orchard. Visit Orchard.com for your free home valuation. That's Orchard.com.
Charlie Harder here. When your hot turns to cold, you better think fast. Fast water heater. Call 1-800-THINK-FAST. That's 1-800-THINK-FAST or fastwaterheater.com.
You better think fast. Fast water heater.
Your best source for local news. KIRO Newsradio. KIRO FM and HD1. Tacoma, Seattle. Northwest News. This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Steve Kathan. A handshake and smiles as President Trump just greeted Canada's Prime Minister Mark Carney at the White House. CBS's Natalie Brand says it comes in the midst of a trade war and Trump's stated desire to annex the country.
Given the heated rhetoric that we've seen leading up to this, it's really hard to know what to expect. Prime Minister Carney, for his part, previewed he's expecting difficult but constructive discussions.
Goldie Hyder is president and CEO of the Business Council of Canada. He hopes for a new trade agreement.
Businesses will not respond in an environment like this where there isn't certainty and predictability. That will create capital chill. And that's not the way to grow your economy and bring back jobs and bring prosperity to both sides of the border.
Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth says he's looking to oust some of the military's 4-star generals and admirals, part of a Pentagon restructuring.
The result of Phase 1 is a minimum of 20% reduction of 4-star and flag officers for active duty elements.
First-term Trump National Security Advisor R.J. McMaster is a CBS News contributor.
We have extremely talented officer corps, in the field grade ranks like lieutenant colonels, majors, and colonels. And it's okay if some of these jobs are downgraded a grade.
Cancellations and delays by the dozens today at Newark Airport, one of the nation's busiest, coping with staffing issues. Tomorrow could be a day of confusion and security delays at many airports as the deadline for a real ID kicks in. CBS's Christina Fan.
Travelers are required to switch over to Real ID or use an enhanced form of identification like a passport if they want to travel by plane domestically beginning tomorrow.
The Homeland Security chief said today travelers who aren't Real ID compliant by tomorrow will still be able to fly but should be braced for extra scrutiny. Overseas anticipation building in Rome ahead of the conclave that elects the next pope. CBS's Chris Livesay says it all begins tomorrow.
Vatican staff involved in the conclave, from cooks to cleaners, have taken their oath of secrecy. The punishment for breaking that oath? Immediate excommunication. Now, the cardinals will take their own oath tomorrow inside the Sistine Chapel.
Conservative Friedrich Merz has become the next German chancellor after a second vote in Parliament. It pays to be the champ. University of Florida basketball coach Todd Golden has signed a 6-year, $40.5 million contract extension nearly a month after winning the national title. Wall Street's. Right now the Dow is down 230 points. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Protesters barricaded at the UW campus quickly moved out. Details coming up, but first from the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Desk. You have a crash eastbound on the I-90 bridge, which has you bogged down at Rainier Avenue. And a crash is blocking a lane northbound in the Highway 99 tunnel. It's got you backed up to about Georgetown. Most of the trouble, though, is due to heavy volumes. Travel time Everett to Seattle, 80 minutes. That's 20 longer than usual. Federal Way to Seattle, 74, 10 minutes longer. Safety first with no credit financing at Bucky's Complete Auto. For oil changes, brakes, tune-ups, wiper blades, and maintenance, check buckys.com.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Heather Bosch. About 30 pro-Palestinian protesters are facing charges today after being arrested for occupying an engineering building at the University of Washington last night.
Many protesters were ready with thick wood poles and piles of rocks the size of a fist. Others drew chalk drawings, Free Palestine and No More Genocide. They placed photos of victims of the violence in Gaza on the engineering building. Here's a reaction from one student, Troy.
So I would say that vandalism, especially to a campus like this, is not ever okay.
Boeing donated $10 million to build the interdisciplinary engineering building. The university says they won't tolerate anti-Semitism on campus. Luke Ducey, KIRO News Radio.
Police are crediting the public for helping them arrest a 43-year-old motorcycle rider who's accused in a deadly hit-and-run crash in South Seattle.
Many tips came in that helped us to identify the make and model and year of that motorcycle. We received additional tips for suspect information.
Police tell KIRO 7 TV the suspect is accused of hitting and killing a woman and injuring her husband 2.5 weeks ago. Seattle police are searching for the driver of an SUV who hit and killed an 83-year-old woman who was in a crosswalk. This happened yesterday on 4th Avenue South and South Spokane Street. Contact police if you have information about the driver. We're learning more about the escape of an inmate from Bowling Green, Kentucky at SeaTac Airport. 28-year-old Cedric Stevenson hopped onto a light rail train, got off in Seattle's Capitol Hill, and disappeared.
Stevenson was in the custody of Prisoner Transport Services, a private company contracted by the Warren County, Kentucky Sheriff's Office. Sheriff Brett Hightower says,
I've been in office going on my 7th year. This is the first time we've had any situation like this.
At least 5 fugitives have died in PTS custody since 2012. The company has been the subject of a congressional investigation about its transport practices. James Lynch, KIRO News Radio.
For the first time in a month, the Mariners have lost 2 games in a row. The M's falling to the Athletics 6-7. M's manager Dan Wilson shouldering the blame for the loss.
That's on me, and that's a tough way to lose.
Wilson faces criticism for urging M's pitcher Casey Legomina to walk back-to-back batters, loading up the bases in the bottom of the 11th inning. This weather update brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Mostly sunny today with highs around 77. It's 58 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show with G. Scott and Ursula Reutin.
Good morning, everybody. It is the Gee and Ursula Show. Let's see here. Happy Tuesday, May 6th, the most beautiful day on record for the year 2025 so far. Good morning, Ursula.
Good morning. I agree, and I agree that it's going to be so beautiful that we're both starting off in an amazing mood.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
It might even be the warmest day of the year. Mm-hmm. Are you ready?
Hey, I like that fit. That's some old Miami Vice stuff.
The last time I wore this jacket, you said the same thing.
Oh, I did?
So white jackets equals Miami Vice.
I mean, you got that look. You got
I'm
that
ready.
look
I'm
like
ready for summer.
Like you go do something after work. You go to happy hour or something?
Yeah.
There you go.
Our text line is 888-973-5476, 888-973 KIRO. Hey, coming up at 9:30. Question: who gets to be fully American? We're going to be sharing some disturbing findings of a new survey on perceptions of Asian Americans in this country.
Okay.
And I look forward to sharing some of those with you and seeing what you think.
Mm-hmm.
But again, as always, this show is nothing without our listeners. A lot of you now on our YouTube page. We love you over there.
Yep.
And we fully expect you to be involved.
All right. I want to give a big shout out to our good friend Paul in the 253. Hey, Paul, just want to let you know the Gee and Ursula Show is here for you, brother. Ursula's top stories of the day brought to you by Batfitter Northwest.
Do not interfere with these officers.
If you remain in the street, you could be subject to arrest.
It was a very tense scene at the University of Washington last night where about 30 pro-Palestinian activists were arrested after occupying a building and setting dumpsters on fire. The group behind all of this, Super UW, says it launched its occupation of the new Boeing-funded engineering building to protest the company's defense contracts and arms sales to Israel. A spokesman for the group talked to KIRO 7 TV.
We would like to rid Boeing's influence from campus completely, as well as other companies that profit from war. And we'd also like to expose the repressive tactics of American universities in the way that they've gone after anti-genocide protesters by expelling them, having them arrested, and even deported.
Many of the protesters wore black face masks. They occupied that building for more than 6 hours before police in riot gear moved in. Those arrested could now be facing charges of trespassing, property destruction, and disorderly conduct. In a statement, the university says it strongly condemns this illegal building occupation and an unspecified anti-Semitic statement that was made by a suspended student group. The university says it's not going to be intimidated by this offensive and destructive behavior.
This is what I really want to do. I prepared nothing for this segment because I just want to tell you, Ursula, it makes me furious. It makes me furious because this administration wants this. They want you to do this so they can say, oh, look at them setting dumpsters on fire. Look at all of them. Look at how they're going about these things. And oh, by the way, don't you worry. Oh, they're going to take you serious. It's going to be different. The same way those things were done before, it's not going to happen now. Whoever is in charge of this is an idiot. They don't think. And they had no, like the way this message is, you have nobody on your side. The only people on your side are covering their faces with masks. Everybody that's showing their face thinks you're an idiot. And if you're listening right now, I'm calling you an idiot.
I mean, I'm not going with the name calling, but as righteous as they may feel about their cause, once they start resorting to violence or vandalism, their message is lost, in my opinion. And we said that before, and I'm going to say it again in this case. I mean, the image of them lighting up the dumpsters is exactly what we're going to be seeing shown all over the country with the depiction of Seattle being lawless and woke. And at 6 hours or more than 6 hours of being occupying that building, I think it was allowed to go on too long. However, the response was a big improvement from, remember what happened last year? Where the pro-Palestinian protesters set up the encampment on the campus and stayed there for 3 weeks. I mean, things are different now. Anna Marie Kause was the president of the university at that time. She took too long to respond. Robert Jones is the new UW president. As you mentioned, we also have this new administration that is taking a hard line against these protests, which they call anti-Semitic. And even though the university is among the schools that are fighting to block the Trump administration from freezing federal funding as a way to control academic decisions, they don't need these shenanigans, as you say, to help with the government's case.
This is what they want. This is what this administration, they want you to do things like this. So that's the part. I understand the why and what you are talking about.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, some of the things that you are talking about, I'm on your side when it comes to some of those things.
But you lose the messaging when you resort to this. Yes.
Come on now. I can't stand for that. I can't stand for you going to UW and putting dumpsters on fire. No, I can't do that.
The Justice Department has now launched an investigation into a new Washington law that requires clergy to report child abuse or neglect. The DOJ says this law is anti-Catholic and it could violate the First Amendment's right to free exercise of religion. The bill was just signed into law by Governor Ferguson on Friday. It adds members of the clergy to the list of professionals who are mandated reporters, and that means they're required to report sex abuse to law enforcement or other agencies. And this law does not include exemptions when the information is obtained during confession, which is the big thing for the Catholic Church. The bill was sponsored by Senator Noel Frame, who herself is a childhood sexual abuse survivor.
So the bill before us says that if you're a member of the clergy, that you have to report child abuse and neglect when you learn about it, no matter the scenario in which you obtain that information. Similar to the last two versions of this bill, nothing in this bill changes clergy penitent privilege for the point of prosecution. That's not the point of this bill. This bill doesn't attempt to change that. It is merely so that clergy will go to authorities and ask them to check on that kid and find out if they are being abused or neglected.
In a statement, Governor Ferguson says the state's looking forward to protecting Washington kids from sexual abuse in the face of this investigation from the Trump administration. This law will take effect on July 27th.
No brainer. Teachers and healthcare providers, they got to report suspected abuse, right? So I want them to have to do the same thing. The clergy should be included in all of this. You know, I want people to know and remember that having the clergy report and having them be on board and having the same mandates that health professionals have and teachers have, in my opinion, Ursula, it would bring more trust to religious institutions, if you will, right? It'll people like, oh, okay, they're on the same page. Because we are just recently, since the 2000s, are coming off multiple billions of dollars in lawsuits in the Catholic Church. $4 billion to be more than that in the United States. So knowing that and knowing what we have seen and what has been talked about and what has been settled, we don't want to have an opportunity for that, and you want to continue to gain the trust.
And I'm in favor of this bill. I just want to say that. And I am Catholic, as many of you know. And I'm in favor of this bill because the safety of a child is paramount to every other concern. That said, I don't know if this law is going to stand, especially given the current makeup of the U.S. Supreme Court. So just for background, more than half of the states in this country already make clergy mandatory reporters, but Washington is only joining a few states where Catholic priests who are bound to confidentiality are not exempt. And that's the big part of it. And the Seattle Archbishop, Paul Etienne, says the Archdiocese of Seattle's policies already require priests to be mandatory reporters. But again, not when it comes to confession. And he says this new law is an overreach. In Spokane, Bishop Thomas Daly there says bishops and priests are prepared to go to jail to keep their commitment. But this is where I disagree with the Catholic Church on this, because even the Catholic Church, as you mentioned, over the years, thousands of Catholic priests and deacons have been accused of child sex abuse. The church has paid out billions. And to fight this, I think, is going in the wrong direction.
So, again, what this will lead to less trust in religious institutions. So, Catholic Church, if this is what you want, then that's what you'll get.
Yeah,
less trust.
Yeah, I agree with you, but what they're saying is they can lose basically their ability to practice as priests if they break that confidentiality during confession. So that's what needs to change. It needs to change from a very high level of the church.
Sorry, church. We're in 2025.
I agree.
Okay? Sorry.
Think it's hard finding a pharmacy now? It's about to get a whole lot worse. Rite Aid has filed for bankruptcy again, and all stores, including Bartell Drugs, will either close or be sold. Bloomberg is reporting that funding from investors has dried up, and Rite Aid is struggling from tariffs, more expensive supply costs, and pricier landlords. CEO Matthew Schroeder told employees that the company cannot survive what he calls a dramatic downturn in the economy. So for now, if you are a Rite Aid customer, you're going to have your access to pharmacy services as the company works to transfer prescriptions to other pharmacies. But I mean, that's a lot of stores. This is the second bankruptcy filing for Rite Aid in less than 3 years. You remember in 2020, the company bought Bartell Drugs for $95 million, and we have watched Seattle area stores shut one by one.
2 days ago, I forgot to bring something. Not 2 days ago. Today's only Tuesday, so it was yesterday. I forgot to bring this to you guys. First, I wanted to say, like, this whole Rite Aid and their bankruptcy, it really is a sign of the times. I don't think this is poorly run business or anything like that. I think that what you are seeing, you're seeing an example of the downfall of brick and mortar pharmacies. The reason what I forgot to bring up to you yesterday, Ursula, was Amazon. Did you know right now Amazon is investing more than $4 billion to expand its rural delivery network, with the focus on small towns across the U.S. to bring them shipments faster. So when I saw that yesterday, I was like, oh, wow. So that's the setup. We're coming, and I'm sure the pharmacy will be long, and then this story comes out about Bartels. I guess what I'm saying is and I'm sure you're going to answer this, and people have their pharmacies and their places, and maybe your place has changed and it's different, and you have to find out. And we don't want pharmacy deserts. We don't want that. But this is leading to, at some point, less than 5 years, Amazon will be taking over this.
And I find that so sad.
Do you?
I mean, I do. And maybe I'm in the minority, but I am someone who still goes physically to the store. You hear me talking about my neighborhood Rite Aid all the time and how just pathetic it has become because the shelves are so empty. And I'm not surprised that this is happening because they kept talking about how, okay, yeah, it's going to get better. It's going to get better. I never saw it get better. But the one thing that kept me going there is the pharmacy. You develop a relationship also with the pharmacist. And it was very convenient to go there. Yeah, I can get with the times and do, but why does Amazon have to just take over everything?
Because that's what we are. We opened up Pandora's box, and we can't close it now. And because of that, we went through a pandemic. We went through lifestyle changes and habits. Send me my stuff, Amazon. I want my pharmacy to come that way. I don't want to go to the brick and mortar. I don't want to go to the stores. As a matter of fact, I'm also thinking about people that are on fixed incomes, people that are in situations where that store closes down, and then all of a sudden they have to bus somewhere. So I want...
Yeah, that's why I don't want Amazon taking over all pharmacies. Not everybody has the ability to go further and further to get their drugs.
Okay, so... Okay. So you have a lady that's living here. What would you rather her do? Bus over to go find somewhere or have Amazon deliver to her door?
But I think there are other reasons why people go to the brick and mortar stores.
No,
I'll give you one.
I was just asking you, what do you want the lady to do?
Not everyone has a prescription that can be mailed to you.
That's right.
I take one, right? So I have to physically go to my Bartell drugs.
I take a couple,
and one of the issues here is not just Amazon, it's the pharmacy benefit managers that are sucking up massive amounts of profit, and they negotiate all the drug prices, including what the pharmacy gets paid. So these have become a sinkhole for big companies. And I just want to remind you, if you want to go to a 24-hour pharmacy, try Issaquah, because that's the only one I could find when I needed one.
Yeah, I don't like that. Again,
okay, so I'm
in the case of an emergency, too. I mean, do you have a daily prescription that you have to take? Drug?
No,
yeah.
I have a prescription, but I don't have a daily one.
Okay, yeah.
So here's my question for you and everybody. I want to just say this. So you have this lady that lives in this house, in this neighborhood, and the local pharmacy close to her has closed down. That's not open anymore because they say vandalism or whatever. So then what would you all want this lady to do? Would you want her to bus over somewhere else, or do you want her to have the opportunity to have the pharmacy, her prescription delivered to her?
Sure, obviously. I mean, for a lot of people, it is just much more convenient, but it's not the answer for everybody, is what I'm trying to say. Right. And I think there are going to be some people who actually miss the brick and mortar store. I mean, that's it. Okay, hey, do we have time? One more. Do we want to talk about Buckley? The city of Buckley may be small, but it has some big problems, and the mayor is in the middle of it. The State Public Disclosure Commission says Mayor Bo Burkett owes the state nearly $15,000 for breaking campaign finance laws. The News Tribune reports that when he was elected in 2021, okay, and mind you, his term expires this year on December 31st, he has violations dating back to 2015 when he served on the Buckley City Council. So the PDC is continuing to add fines. They added another $1,000 to the mayor's mountain of debt. And, apparently he just hasn't been paying.
Wow. You know, the fact that he hasn't shown a financial disclosure since 2015, and here it is, a mayor in a small town. Sometimes, Ursula, when you tell stories and things, and I know usually a lot of people are like, oh, it's Seattle, and you can't watch the liberal politicians in Seattle, whatever's being said. It's always interesting that sometimes in these small towns, some of the things that happen and go on. Like 2015, Ursula, I ain't the best at math, but That was 10 years ago.
He's had this problem when he was elected as mayor.
10 years ago.
Yeah.
10 years ago.
Only in Buckley.
Oh, shout out to Buckley. All right, Ursula, we got a lot of things to talk about. 9:47. Why do the Seahawks have such low national expectations? We'll talk about that. But coming up next, who gets to be fully American? That's a loaded question. We'll do that next. Gee Ursula.
You never know what's in store each morning once you hit the road.
We've got a major traffic alert in effect right now.
While you're getting ready every morning, make us part of your routine.
What morning, huh?
Yeah. Got off to an early start.
Just tell your smart speaker to play KIRO News Radio or stream us on the app.
Both directions of I-5 are closed.
We'll help you get where you're going faster.
Maybe bail at 512.
KIRO News Radio. We're on your smart speaker, the app, and 97.3 FM.
Nobody should drink and drive. It's absolutely dangerous. DUI Heroes cares for their clients as people, individuals who have made a mistake. DUI Heroes will not treat you like a criminal. Their clients will be heard and also understood. They will be valued and they will be seen. DUI Heroes, your DUI defense specialist, DUIHeroes.com.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Get ready for Camping World's Red, White, and New trade event, May 15th through the 18th. Get the highest value for your RV guaranteed during the biggest RV trade event of the year. Shop the best RV deals in America with new RVs starting as low as $92 a month. Get ready for the holiday weekend with up to 45% off grills and 25% off product installation. Plus, we'll have free hats, free propane refills, free food, and fun for the whole family. Don't miss the incredible Red, White, and New trade event, May 15th through the 18th at your local Camping World.
See for full details and disclaimers.
At Les Schwab, we've been changing the tire game for more than 70 years. Our Go the Extra Mile service means more hustle, less hassle. We design our own exclusive tires to give you more tires made for the road you drive, less compromise. All backed by America's best tire warranty included with every tire we sell. We're talking more unbeatable tire warranty, less charging you extra, like the other guys. It's why you get more from less. Book an appointment at leschwab.com.
It's John Curley with a big deal from Window Nation. During their semi-annual sale, right now, get 60% off. And if you buy windows for your entire house, you get a free exterior door, too. And you could get 0 down, 0 interest, and no payments locked in for 2 years. Their energy-efficient windows help cut noise, lower your bills, and reduce your carbon footprint, all with modern style. Backed by a 25-year warranty and transparent pricing, Window Nation gives you the long-lasting comfort without the gimmicks. Made locally with Milgard right here in Tacoma, 866-90Nation or windownation.com.
Hi, my name is Rajiv Nagaich. Ever since I became an elder law attorney more than 20 years ago, I've helped thousands of people in the Seattle area retire with more confidence about their future. I'd like to invite you to one of my retirement planning seminars this month. Learn how to protect your estate from long-term care costs. Live out your years where you choose, even if you get sick, without becoming a burden on people you love the most. Learn how to use the Safe Harbor Trust to protect your estate from threats most people overlook. Come to the seminar and I'll show you how it's done.
Join the free seminar in Federal Way on May 13th, Tacoma on May 15th, or Bellevue on May 17th. Register at lifepointlaw.com. That's lifepointlaw.com. Or call 253-838-3454. 253-838-3454.
If you've been thinking about surgery or even joint replacement, here's something to consider. Hi, it's Dave Ross. I've talked to over 100 patients of Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, and many of them have told me about life-changing results. Their words, after treatment at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. These are people with severe osteoarthritis, even bone on bone, and they're back to hiking, jogging, playing tennis, skiing, golfing, walking up and down stairs, playing with the kids and the grandkids, and they're doing it without pain and without surgery. Dr. Wagner's 60-minute outpatient procedure uses your own stem cells, and because they're your own stem cells, they can help regenerate your own cartilage in your own joints. Dr. Wagner is a board-certified Seattle physician. He has over 30 years of experience, and he's performed over 20,000 stem cell procedures. And he's one of the few doing it the right way. So, listen to his patients, and remember, whether it's a shoulder, hip, elbow, ankle, wrist, or knee, before you choose surgery, first see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD. Get the facts, then get back in the game at drmarkwagnermd.com.
At Uline, the prevailing opinion is, if you don't live it, you don't believe it. The people at Uline believe in hard work, and they live it by being there 24/7 to answer your call, having 41,000 items in stock, and offering same-day shipping from 12 locations across North America. Business owners, sellers, buyers, shippers, and packers believe it. Uline is the hard-working, dependable source for your shipping and industrial supplies. Visit uline.com.
When we reach our golden years, it's natural to want to stay in our homes. We've worked hard for them, but as our minds and bodies age, the home can become an unsafe place where loneliness thrives. Amanda here for Care Partners Senior Living. Our communities offer safe living spaces and managed common areas with medical professionals on site and ready to help. We assist you with your mobility when needed, allowing you to socialize or participate in activities whenever you like. Care Partners Senior Living provides both privacy and socialization at your desired pace. You aren't living alone in our communities because help is always nearby. And believe it or not, community living can be more cost-effective than in-home care. With locations throughout Washington and Arizona, you'll find a Care Partners community near you. Care, it's in our name and what we do. Learn more at carepartnersliving.com.
With 30 communities, including Covington, Bremerton, Snohomish, and the grand opening of North Creek Bothell, there's quality senior care at an affordable price near you. Visit carepartnersliving.com.
KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Heather Bosch.
You cannot interfere with these officers. If you remain in the street, you can be subject to arrest.
Dozens of pro-Palestinian protesters face charges of trespassing, property destruction, and disorderly conduct after barricading themselves at a University of Washington engineering building. This protester telling KIRO 7 TV.
We would like to rid Boeing's influence from campus completely, as well as other companies that profit from war.
They were arrested last night. Their barricade is being dismantled today. Washington state's new law requiring clergy to report child abuse is being challenged by the federal government. The U.S. Department of Justice says the law may violate the First Amendment and in a statement calls it anti-Catholic. The law requires members of the clergy to report abuse even if it's revealed during confession. Supporters of the law say it protects children. The conclave to elect a new pope begins tomorrow in Rome. The new pontiff will succeed Pope Francis, viewed by many as a progressive. CBS papal contributor Candida Moss predicts.
I think there's going to be a little bit of a swing back to the center of the Catholic Church, and there's going to be a lot of debate about whether or not we want someone like Francis. Everyone wants that Francis magic, but they don't necessarily want the Francis Manifesto.
Canada's new prime minister has arrived at the White House for a visit with President Trump. CBS's Natalie Brand.
This meeting comes at a time of great trade tensions and also political tensions. Newly elected Prime Minister Mark Carney has not shied away from criticizing President Trump, and in fact last week said that the old relationship between the U.S. and Canada based on increasing integration is, quote, over.
U.S. businesses continue to assess the impact of Trump's tariffs. Mark Holcomb owns a toy store in North Carolina that gets a lot of product from China.
The fear is we're not going to have enough stock to sustain ourselves through the rest of the year because suppliers aren't going to have the inventory to ship.
Trump has said,
maybe the children will have $2 instead of $30, you know?
The deadline to get your real ID is tomorrow. Homeland Security today said you will still be able to fly with your old driver's license, but you will undergo additional and time-consuming screening. You can also use your passport, though, to get through more quickly. On Wall Street, the Dow is down 206 points, NASDAQ off 102. From the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Desk in Seattle, you have a crash eastbound on the I-90 bridge at Rainier Avenue. Not a big impact right now. You have a crash blocking a lane northbound in the Highway 99 tunnel. You're still backed up to about Georgetown. And you're still dealing with heavy volumes, but travel times are easing. Everett to Seattle, 60 minutes, 10 longer than typical. Federal Way to Seattle, 70 minutes. That's nearly 20 minutes longer than usual. Traffic brought to you by Beacon Plumbing. For all your heating, electrical, septic, and mechanical needs, stop freaking call Beacon. This weather update brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Mostly sunny skies with highs around 77. It's 58 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO Newsradio, Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show. Thank you so much for hanging out with us on this gorgeous Tuesday morning. How are you going to be spending this glorious day? Text us, 888-973-5476, 888-973-KIRO. Now, we go deep on a lot of topics, but this is one we really haven't ever hit in our show. And this is a question for all of you. What do you think most Americans think about their Asian American neighbors? A new disturbing survey highlights how many people actually think the word Asian matters more than American when you use that phrase. And this is an annual survey of 5,000 people from the Asian American Foundation, and it found that 40% of the people who were surveyed believe Asian Americans hold more loyalty to the country where their family came from than to the United States. And what's interesting is that figure has doubled in the last 4 years. Nearly two-thirds believe Chinese Americans are a national security threat. And if not that, many others believe that they are a threat to American culture, public health, university admissions, jobs. And then here's another astounding one. More than half of the people surveyed cannot fully agree that the internment of Japanese Americans during World War II was wrong.
Wow, that was a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot. So one of the questions I would ask is, why do you think this has changed a lot in the last 4 years?
I would say that the change is that there used to be a time that, and I remember Peter Lin, who I went to school with, Chinese American, back in 6th, 7th grade, and we talked about this, and he talked about how he doesn't speak, he didn't speak his language anymore, because this was years ago, and because he was trying to really sound more American, right? And I think that for some time, I think a lot of Asian Americans here in this country would assimilate and try to not speak their language so they can get out in the job force into the world. Now, what I have seen now more and more, some adults are going to school so they can learn how to speak their native language. There are young kids that are making sure that their children are speaking the language. I think what's happening is now there's more Asian Americans that are saying, hey, it's okay to continue to speak your language. Sure, you can speak English, but it's okay to speak your own language. And I think because we are seeing more of that, I think that is a threat to some. Some people would say, oh, you should only, you know what I mean? Like, you really have people that walk around.
You live here. Why are you speaking a different language?
So I think that's the difference. I think you have more people that are more bold about speaking their language than ever before, where before they used to just assimilate, in which that's a whole nother topic in itself.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, but I think most people know that I am Asian American. I'm half Filipino and half German, but I became an American citizen in the 1990s. When I first moved to this country, the first racism that I experienced was almost my first day in junior high, when I was asked whether I eat monkey meat. I was also exposed to racism when I was told to go back, get on the boat that I came from, get back to the country on the boat that I came from. And, I just always looked at it as ignorance. And one of the things that I think that has maybe excluded me from more racism is that I don't speak with an accent. I've always spoken English. I regret that my parents didn't make me learn how to speak Tagalog. But this saddens me that there are people who look at, whether it's Chinese Americans, but that seems to be one of the cultures that gets it the worst, that they're looked at, 2/3 believe Chinese Americans are a national security threat. I mean, that's scary.
Yeah.
Or they look at it as, hey, these people are taking our spot in admissions because, it's that international money, or I don't like them because they're taking my spots. I mean, this is where you're seeing it right now in this survey.
But that theme right there, right? Remember they marched through the streets of Charlottesville. What were they screaming? They will not replace us, right? That has been a thing where the threat, like, hey, at least you're not them. Hey, just so you know, they're coming for your jobs. That is still a thing.
Yeah.
We have grown professionals here in this area that say these things.
Can I admit something?
Yeah.
Because I think we all have a bias against certain groups that's just ingrained in our brains. Sure. Like, think about this phrase: Asians are, now fill in the blank.
Oh, yeah.
I guarantee you have a word that you come up with. And like I've learned, like what I was learned growing up was timid or quiet or inscrutable.
Really?
Yes. I mean, this is ingrained in Hollywood.
When I hear Asians it would be hardworking, really smart.
Oh yeah, smart's a good one. Good at math, right?
Yeah.
But those are all biases that we have. And that does not exist if you say white people are, those attitudes about what people are like, they go back to World War II. They're more loyal to their country than to the U.S. That's why they were interned. Is because that was propaganda that was spread. And I hate to admit this, but it's a real part of how we grow up and what we learn about other people.
Well,
and thank you for admitting that. I mean,
I sometimes take for granted how I came up. And I didn't just come up going to school with different nationalities and diversity and all that. We lived together. We ate together. We slept together. You know what I mean? And so when you do that, those stereotypes and those things, like, they kind of go out the window. You start to get an understanding of that. And I'll tell you, when I think of Asian families and think of Asian culture, I think probably
amazing food.
The group of people in this country that I probably say, like, I'd say Asian folks that, I mean, you guys know I'm married to a Korean woman. They really got it. They got the roadmap. And a lot of times. And I'm not talking about, you guys talk about a smart. I'm talking about, their expectations about school. Yes.
Yeah, high value on education.
But find out about family. Find out when you don't get kicked out of the house at 18. Find out when the parents come and live with the children and everybody, all the generations are all in one home. And then they all come together. And so there's a house across the street that's for sale. Pull their money together, they buy that house. The next house down the street is for sale. Before you know it, the family has 4 houses on the block. By the way, I'm telling you a real story in real time. You know what I mean? Like, that's how they do.
Yeah.
So.
But that survey is really eye-opening, honestly. And it's something that's not talked about enough.
Good stuff. And we don't talk about it enough. No doubt. All right, we're going to lighten up the show with this question. The Seahawks right now, Vegas has them to win 7.5 games this season. Would you bet the over or the under? We'll talk about it next. Gee Ursula.
The John Curley Show, weekdays 3 to 7.
It was an exciting night at my house last night. Nick came home. She's all excited. This shirt she found was $80. So she's sitting there talking to me, and all of a sudden she goes, I can't breathe. Cut me out of it. I was like, cut you out of it? It was $80. I got it for $11. Why'd you even buy it? Because it was $80. I got it for $11. I knew it wouldn't fit, but it was so cheap.
Watch the John Curley Show live on YouTube, weekdays 3 to 7.
If you have a bathtub that is outdated or still grimy even after you've cleaned for hours, do what our family did and call Bathfitter. Why Bathfitter? Well, I have done the research for you, and Bathfitter is simply the best. Here's why. At Bathfitter, they will handle the entire process from start to finish. They're going to design your bath, manufacture all the materials, and install your bath themselves. No subcontractors. You're only going to be working with highly trained, trusted Bathfitter employees who've been creating dream bathrooms for years. When we had our bath installed, Bathfitter's designer came over to the house and she helped me pick everything from the types of walls and tubs to the fixtures, the door styles, and the colors. It all came together so beautifully, and we were thrilled with the end result. And did I mention it was all done in less than a day? Right now, Bathfitter is offering 0% interest for 24 months, so now is the perfect time to get that new dream bath. Call Bathfitter today or visit bathfitternw.com.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my superhydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
Get ready for Camping World's Red, White, and New Trade Event, May 15th through the 18th. Get the highest value for your RV guaranteed during the biggest RV trade event of the year. Shop the best RV deals in America with new RVs starting as low as $92 a month. Get ready for the holiday weekend with up to 45% off grills and 25% off product installation. Plus, we'll have free hats, free propane refills, free food, and fun for the whole family. Don't miss the incredible Red, White, and New Trade Event, May 15th through the 18th at your local Camping World.
See for full details and disclaimers.
So I formed Davis Law Group about 30 years ago, and I would get, the same questions from people about what to do in the case of an accident. Do you need a lawyer? To the point where I decided that I would at least write a book which would answer the common questions that I would receive as a lawyer. Once I wrote my first book, it proved to be hugely popular. I decided to write then a series of books in different accident cases so that we could really teach people about their rights, how to protect them, and how to decide on whether they need a lawyer and what lawyer to hire. I've found in my career that having a client that is educated and knowledgeable about their particular type of case really helps the client and also usually ends up making the case or the claim more successful. To get your free copy of any of my Washington accident books, visit WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
An illegal alien from Guatemala charged with raping a child in Massachusetts. An MS-13 gang member from El Salvador accused of murdering a Texas man. A Venezuelan charged with filming and selling child pornography in Michigan. These are just some of the heinous migrant criminals caught because of President Donald J. Trump's leadership. I'm Kristi Noem, the United States Secretary of Homeland Security. Under President Trump, attempted illegal border crossings are at the lowest levels ever recorded, and over 100,000 illegal aliens have been arrested. If you are here illegally, you're next. You will be fined nearly $1,000 a day, imprisoned, and deported. You will never return. But if you register using our CBP Home app and leave now, you could be allowed to return legally. Do what's right. Leave now. Under President Trump, America's laws, border, and families will be protected.
Sponsored by the United States Department of Homeland Security.
G. Scott here with some special guests, former Seahawks Doug Baldwin and Cliff Averill. Guys, I've been hearing all about Nourishing Champions. Tell us more about it.
So we know the benefits for young people in sports, but we often don't think about the barriers to that access. And one of those barriers is having proper nutrition. And so Nourishing Champions, in partnership with Champions of Change and Safeway, is an effort to address those barriers so that our student athletes have what they need to excel both on the field and in the classroom.
You know, it's extremely important. You don't realize how many students actually are on reduced or even free lunch, and they don't have the opportunity to actually get a meal before practice, before a game. So being able to provide food for them, I think, is extremely important to give them the best opportunity to be able to be the best version of themselves.
And right now, high schools can apply for grants up to $25,000 from Nourishing Champions. Learn how at championsofchangefoundation.org. That's championsofchangefoundation.org. Hey, what's up, everybody? It is the Gee and Ursula Show. Really like hanging out with you guys. By the way, it's beautiful outside today. And if you're on the YouTube, go to the YouTube. I even got some of my older brothers and sisters hanging out on the YouTube page. Appreciate y'all.
And I'm waving at y'all.
Yeah, we need to talk. So, Ursula, the national sports media, they don't think that this year's Seahawks team is going to be very good. People who supposedly know are looking past this team the same way all them experts were looking past the Mariners.
There you go.
Odds makers in Las Vegas, ESPN's Jordan Reed, draft analyst Todd McShay, Pro Football Focus, all project the 2025 Hawks will not make the playoffs. As a matter of fact, they have them slated for 7.5 wins. So I'll ask again, do you think over or under 7.5 wins? Coach Mike McDonald won 10 games last year in his first year. They had a pretty good draft, and right now Vegas is basically calling it a coin flip on what this team does when they win more games than they lose. Ursula, your thoughts. First, let me start off with this. 7.5 wins. If you were betting, would you bet over or under 7.5 wins?
I'm going to say they're going to have more than 7.5 wins.
Okay.
If last year they had 10 and they have improved, I thought the Seahawks had a great draft.
They did.
So they beefed up on the O-line, and they got some other weapons, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they can only get better in my mind. And I hope that this team looks at this as a challenge versus a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Okay. Let me tell you why I think the experts, the national media in Las Vegas has the Seahawks here. By the way, the San Francisco 49ers, they have them at 9.5, predicting for them to win the division. But let me tell you what I really deep down feel, the reason why, if you guys feel it's disrespect, okay, I'll tell you why I think it is. I think that the experts don't believe in Sam Darnold, the new quarterback.
Oh.
I believe the experts believe that Sam Darnold had, and by the way, this will be year 7 for him. In the previous 6 seasons, he's only had one good year, and that was last season with the Minnesota Vikings. Playing in the Dome, playing with a really good defense, playing with a good run game, and great coaches. So he's coming over here, and I think that that's one of the reasons.
So why did the Seahawks GM and head coach think that Darnold is the answer for the Seahawks? Like,
well,
what are the reasons why he could prove them wrong?
Well, first, it didn't work out with Geno. First, I just want to say that. They offered him a certain amount. He didn't match.
And Geno said, yeah, thanks, but no thanks.
Thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah.
And so he's out.
Yes.
And so Sam Darnold was a free agent.
Okay, was he the best available?
Yes,
basically?
He was the best available, number one. Number 2, Sam Darnold is 27 years old.
Okay.
So he's young. Right? And he has 6 seasons behind him. So that's a lot of experience. So he was the best quarterback available. It was a good pickup by the Seahawks. But while I disagree with the experts, I will agree that this season is on his shoulders. I mean, it's on all quarterback shoulders, but it's really on his. And the reason why it's really on his is because you have a new offensive coordinator. You have a new offensive line coach. So you have a very new system. And so sometimes when you come into a season, it's not always easy for things to just get going. It's like the first year of the Gee and Ursula Show, or it's like the first year of Pete Carroll. Who remembers how many games Pete Carroll won his first year as head coach? 7, right? So sometimes it takes a little while. So again, I don't agree, but I do say that it would be the reason that he is the reason why they make or break this season.
Okay, can you tell me what are other reasons for us to be excited about the Seahawks and what they've created in the offseason?
I think that this defense will probably be the best defense in a long time, right? Yes, you have John Schneider did a great job picking up Leo Williams last year. He has him on that line. You bring back Jaron Reed. He's just got signed. Byron Murphy II was a rookie last season. He was extremely good. The secondary is good. Nick Emenroy, the new draft pick that they picked up out of South Carolina, he's really good. Defensively, this team is really solid. They just have to be able to run the ball, do better in the red zone, and not turn the ball over.
Okay, I kind of miss Tyler Lockett only because his introductory news conference was so sweet. And no Tyler.
Did you see that? Did you see the way? And by the way, what Ursula's talking about, it made me so mad. I texted him too.
Wait a minute.
I said, brother,
Tyler Lockett, good
I said,
move.
man, we gonna miss you. Let me tell you all what happened. Tyler Lockett shows up for his first press conference for the Tennessee Titans, and before he goes to the podium, he goes around and shakes everyone's hand. So when he stands up at the podium, one of the first questions are, hey, we're not really used to this happening.
Someone so kind.
And he asks why you did it, right? To which Tyler Lockett says, well, you all cover the team.
Yeah.
I'm going to be seeing you all the time.
Yes.
I would introduce myself to you the same way I introduce myself to my teammates who I'm going to see all the time. So
it was such a classy move and it was so awesome. And I was like, it just reminded me, like, we just didn't hear enough of him in his last years with the Seahawks.
Can I just tell you this, Ursula? In 22 years and being around that team, I've never met
a nicer guy.
Never. I've never met a Tyler Lockett. Matter of fact, his former teammates will tell you the same thing. The hole that's left with him gone, that's a whole nother topic.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's room now for someone to grow into that position.
Coming up next here on the Gee and Ursula Show, do you have your real ID? Because tomorrow's the day. I'm going to tell you what I really think about real ID. Next, Gee and Ursula.
Imagine finding your dream home and moving in right away. No waiting to sell your old place first. Sounds perfect, right? That's exactly what Orchard's Move First, Sell Later program lets you do. Buy your new home now and sell the old one later on your timeline. No showings, no double moves. Plus, Orchard handles all home repairs for you, attracting buyers. Buy before you sell and get top dollar with Orchard. Visit Orchard.com for your free home valuation. That's Orchard.com.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
What makes you so different than the rest of us?
We ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Tell me more.
Our investment counselors focus on service over sales, prioritizing clients' needs.
How do you make money?
We don't sell any commission-based products. We have a simple management fee, based on the value of our client's portfolio. So we do better when our clients do better.
What about client portfolios?
We get to know each client, their finances, family, health, lifestyle, and more, and then we tailor a portfolio based on their specific goals and needs.
Your clients really come first then, huh?
Yes, we make them a top priority. Our goal is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Wow, maybe we are different.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Spring in Washington. It is practically synonymous with rain. And of course, rain is made up of water, which unfortunately can wreak havoc on your home and your crawl space. So if rain or groundwater makes its way into that crawl space, it can create all kinds of problems, including structural damage or toxic mold. You don't want either of those at your house. Trust me. It's Mike Salk here, and that's why you call Crawl Pros. Crawl Pros will keep your crawl space dry. They can install a sump pump and drainage and reroute that water back out and away from your home. They'll take care of any mold that's been created and even address any plumbing issues you may have in your crawl space. Don't take the risk. The best way to learn if you have any water issues is to have Crawl Pros do what they did at my house. Visit your home and inspect your crawl space for free. Yes, Crawl Pros will go where you don't want to. So if you're worried at all about water damage, mold, insulation issues, critters, anything else related to your crawl space or attic, call Crawl Pros or visit crawlpros.com to schedule a free inspection.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
We all get a good feeling when we show up for others. That's what Give Big is all about. Give Big is Washington's annual statewide giving campaign, May 6th and 7th. Visit wagives.org to discover and donate to nonprofits making good things happen.
KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Steve Kathan. President Trump says he'd love a new trade deal with Canada, and he wants it to be part of the USA.
It would really be a wonderful marriage because it's two places that get along very well. They like each other a lot.
At the White House, he spoke sitting right next to Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney, who had campaigned against that.
As you know from real estate, there are some places that are never for sale.
Well, CBS's Natalie Brand at the White House.
This meeting comes at a time of great trade tensions and also political tensions. Newly elected Prime Minister Mark Carney has not shied away from criticizing President Trump, and in fact last week said that the old relationship between the U.S. and Canada based on increasing integration is, quote, over.
Starting tomorrow, airport security will want to see either a valid passport or real ID. A standard driver's license won't cut it. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem.
What will happen tomorrow is folks will come through the line and they will issue their ID and show it. If it's not compliant, they may be diverted to a different line, have an extra step, but people will be allowed to fly.
Well, CBS New York's Elijah Westbrook is at Newark Airport, where the big issue has been a staffing crisis that's triggered more than a week of chaos.
We have entered the 9th day dealing with these issues. At last check, we're now seeing 22 delays and 69 cancellations. And of course, those numbers could rise as the day progresses.
And they have risen throughout the day. The conclave to select a new pope opens tomorrow at the Vatican. CBS News contributor Candida Moss.
This conclave is going to be a referendum on Francis's papacy. Conservatives who elected Francis, thinking that he was just going to be ministering to the poor, are concerned that if there's another Francis, we may see confusion in the church. That's how they see it. And so I think there's going to be a little bit of a swing back to the center of the Catholic Church.
On the Health Watch, it seems the shingles vaccine can do more than just prevent a painful rash.
The study in the European Heart Journal looked at more than 2 million people who have gotten shingles shots since 2012.
We saw a 23% reduction in their risk of cardiovascular events.
CBS News medical contributor Dr. Celine Gounder, editor-at-large for public health at KFF Health News, says that shingles vaccine has since been replaced with a new one, Shingrix.
We are seeing even better vaccine effectiveness, and we're seeing preliminary data showing that it too has cardiovascular protective effects.
Michael Wallace, CBS News.
And checking Wall Street, right now the Dow is down 306 points. The S&P is down 35 points. The NASDAQ is down 130. This is CBS News.
Sponsored by Progressive. Protect your auto, home, and business with Progressive and get 24/7 coverage. See if you can save at Progressive.com. That's Progressive.com.
This is a test of your emergency alert system.
This is Pierce County Emergency Management conducting a test of the emergency alert system. In the event of an emergency, this system would bring you important information. The following tones will conclude this test.
Why this time the UW quickly swept away a protest camp. The story coming up at first from the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Desk. In Seattle, a crash is blocking a lane on I-5 southbound near Union Street, and a disabled vehicle is blocking a lane on I-5 southbound at the Boeing Access Road. You are pumping brakes back to Boeing Field. The crash has been cleared from the Highway 99 tunnel northbound, but you're still backed up off and on to South Park. Traffic brought to you by Seattle Sports. You can always listen to your favorite local sports content on the FM dial on 97.3 HD2.
KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Heather Bosch. 30 pro-Palestinian protesters have already been arrested and are facing charges including trespassing and destruction of property after barricading themselves at a University of Washington engineering building last night. This woman on campus today.
Generally speaking, I support the students' right to free speech and protest.
But in a statement, the UW called the protest unlawful, anti-Semitic, and dangerous. Police have arrested the motorcycle rider they say hit and killed a woman and injured her husband 2.5 weeks ago in South Seattle. KIRO 7 TV's Deborah Horn reports.
Seattle police tell us that they took that suspect, a 43-year-old Seattle man, to Harborview Medical Center for an ailment he had before he was arrested. The fact that he is in custody is causing people here to breathe a sigh of relief. They got him? They got him.
Yeah, that's good.
This comes after Seattle police released a clearer photograph of the suspect and his motorcycle.
Many tips came in,
sparking a remarkable reaction from the public.
We're learning more about the Kentucky fugitive who slipped away from a private transport agent at SeaTac Airport Sunday. Bowling Green, Kentucky Police Chief Ronnie Ward says 28-year-old Cedric Stevenson is wanted on several charges.
Assault, third-degree police officer, possession of controlled substance, trafficking in marijuana less than 8 ounces, resisting arrest, criminal mischief, and possession of a handgun by a convicted felon.
Stevenson was last seen getting off of a light rail train in Seattle's Capitol Hill neighborhood. You can see a picture of him at mynorthwest.com. Snohomish County today launches its new emergency radio system. It's an upgrade to the old 911 apparatus, and it can handle twice as much radio traffic. The new system will be encrypted, meaning you and the rest of the public will not be able to hear it by using a typical police scanner. Washington State's own Benson Boone is coming home to Climate Pledge Arena.
These beautiful things that I've got, please stay.
The Monroe-born pop star is headlining his first nationwide arena tour this fall. It includes a stop in Seattle October 5th. The 22-year-old was nominated for Best New Artist at the Grammys. This weather update brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Mostly sunny today with highs around 77. It's 58 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with the KIRO Newsradio App. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO Newsradio, Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show with G. Scott and Ursula Reutin.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday, May 6th. What a beautiful day in Zamunda. I mean, a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Coming to America. My bad. Yeah, it's my bad. Sully, you heard it.
You started going down that way.
Heard it. Sorry. Good morning, Ursula.
Movie references are just lost on me. Sorry. Hey, as always, we welcome you, and we also welcome you to join us on our text line, 888-973-5476, 888-973 KIRO. This show is all about all of you. Also, YouTube. We've got quite the community going on there.
Yeah, and 61 of y'all on there. Y'all need to get some more. Let's make it a party.
Yes, invite more of your friends.
Mm-hmm.
Make it a party for sure. Hey, coming up at 10:30, what is a business that you are willing to get in your car and drive a considerable distance to support?
You already know what the first business of mine is. It's one.
Okay, so
it's got to involve food.
Yes, it's going to involve food. Let's talk about what you're willing to get into the car for and drive a little bit because you want to support this business because it's just that good.
Okay,
tell us what that is on the text line 888-973-5476, 888-973 KIRO.
What's new at 10?
Okay, y'all been hearing all the warnings, and finally, tomorrow, after 20 years, we might see some chaos at SEA and other airports all across the nation.
If you plan on traveling, we need your help to prevent delays and to prove your identity. Get a real ID. Starting May 7th, you will need a real ID to travel by air or to visit federal buildings in the United States.
Okay, yeah, not so fast, because Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem just announced this morning that you will be able to fly still without real ID.
What will happen tomorrow is folks will come through the line and will be issued their ID and show it. If it's not compliant, they may be diverted to a different line, have an extra step, but people will be allowed to fly. We recognize that this is a security issue. Congress has had many, many years to reevaluate it and decide if they wanted to change the law or to stop it. And the Biden administration chose that it should go into place on May 7th, and we intend to follow the law. So we will make sure that it is as seamless as possible and that travelers will get to stay on their intended itinerary. But we are telling people that this law will be enforced, and it will allow us to know individuals in this country who they are and that they're authorized to travel.
Okay, so we want to bring our transportation expert, Chris Sullivan, into the conversation because you have been all over this Real ID story. I mean, I remember you talking about this almost since the first days of working here.
Yeah, well, we've been talking about it since 2015 when it was supposed to actually go into effect, 10 years after it passed. And so we're looking at things being maybe not necessarily delayed. I mean, the deadline is the deadline. It's going to be there tomorrow. I mean, that is the case. Now, what we've been talking about the last couple of months as we approach this deadline is, are they really going to turn you away when you get to the line? And in talking with people through the TSA, probably no, but what we don't know is, as Kristi Noem said this morning, and the wild card is we don't know what that extra screening is going to be. Right now, if you go to the airport and you don't have the right ID, like say, for instance, you've got something that they're like, oh, I forgot it. You can still travel, but you go through secondary and a much more intense kind of scrutiny. Now, if 1,000 people tomorrow morning who are flying out of the 10,000 that are flying in the morning hours, roughly, I'm just guessing at numbers. If 1% of them, 10% of them show up and don't have a compliant ID, where are they all going to go for secondary screening? SEA is small enough. You can't where are they going to put all the people And do they have the bodies for all this secondary screening to get you through? Sure, you might be able to fly, but your plane may already have left the gate by the time you get through to TSA.
Yeah, so if you are one of those that doesn't have the real ID, you need to give yourself maybe double the amount of time that you normally would.
They're saying 3 hours.
Yes.
For domestic flight. Now, again, if you have a passport or all these other IDs, you're fine.
Right. Well, let's talk about all these other IDs.
Okay.
Passport, what else works?
Passport card, government-issued IDs, DOD.
Green card.
Things like, certainly. Anything that you would use that has proof of citizenship tied to it. The reason Washington needs an enhanced ID is we don't ask for proof of citizenship for our regular licenses or cards. So that's why we have an enhanced version, which everyone is running out to try to get now.
I saw the lines.
Yeah.
I saw the lines because I'm one of those that doesn't have one.
Your boy told you that this wasn't going to happen.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I mean, I'm not sure what would happen if you start turning. You would have riots at every. If people turned away, they'd be like, "I never heard anything about this."
You know how much money? You know how much money airlines would lose right away?
Yeah.
And by the way, let me just say this today: it's not going to be enforced. Real ID it took 20 years. It'll be another 20 years. I'll tell you what.
I'm going to say, don't listen to G. Don't use. Hey, I heard on KIRO Radio on the Gee and Ursula Show. G said, "I'm not going to need it."
Okay.
You still need to. I would still encourage you to do what I've done, which is I'm waiting for an appointment to be available so that I can go in and get mine.
Hold on. I've already been on record and I've told you guys, I'm following the rules.
Yes.
Some of us don't have a choice. Okay, that's one. Two, I'll tell you this. The same time they enforce Real ID will be the same time that they make every employer use E-Verify.
Which they should be doing.
But they're not going to.
Yeah, they aren't because that would just decimate their work crew.
Because it will cost a lot more to get people to
work jobs
like that.
Yep, exactly.
So, that's what I'm saying. This is another 3-card Monty, right? Look over here while this is going, and get ready for that $4.5 trillion tax cut.
And another reason, if you think about it, we've built a whole TSA off of this same situation.
Yes.
Right? And so...
Well, I heard someone from TSA speaking on KIRO 7 TV this morning, and they were saying they expect 20% of people to show up to SEA without it.
Okay, well, just imagine what that looks like.
Yeah, so if they said, we're going to have all hands on deck, it's still going to be more time.
Oh, yeah.
And until everybody gets in their appointments. And right now, if you try to get an appointment, you can't get one until...
Yeah, you're like 2 months
June.
out.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the thing. They won't be turning you away. You might miss your flight if you show up like you normally do and have to go through extra screening.
That's no
because
fun.
when you go in for extra screening, there might be 1,000 people in front of you trying to get through extra screening. And what is that going to look like?
Yeah.
So we don't know. Tomorrow is going to be very interesting and of what that will look like and what they can handle, whether that will impact the people who have Real ID or not. That's why our good friend Luke Ducey will be at the airport all morning long.
Perfect.
To have a lot of fun and probably talk to a lot of people who are like, Real ID? What is that? I've never heard anything about this.
No. By the way, everyone, enhanced ID, Real ID, same thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
I just wanted to talk about it.
Perfect. Okay, let's talk about trains, though, because you had a conversation with someone very important involving trains.
Yeah, I got to talk with the head of Amtrak, the president of Amtrak. Roger Harris was in town last week. He was checking out the new maintenance facility Amtrak is building just south of the current one on Holgate. And so that was really kind of good. We talked to him not only about the construction, which I know is one thing, but also kind of the health of Amtrak, the Amtrak Cascades, what ridership looks like, and what the future holds, and what the new train cars, which they're going to debut in Seattle next year, what that might mean for passengers or people who are considering using the trains. So yeah, it was kind of a good opportunity to get down there and meet with a head of one of the largest transit companies in the country.
Cool.
So what would you like to talk about? You want to talk about?
Yeah.
Okay, because I asked him, I go, what's the viability? How are we doing? How's the health of rail in our state? And what's interesting is not only have they seen, they being Amtrak, that a 41% increase in passenger ridership from 2023 to 2024. I mean, that's a pretty big deal. They had almost had 1 million people ride that Amtrak Cascades, which is a pretty decent number. And then I could see, and most of us were like, well, yeah, coming out of 2023 to 2024, we're still kind of coming out of the pandemic when you weren't even running trains. No one was on transit. Mm-hmm. How realistic? What does this really mean? Well, it turns out that's more people than they had in 2019 prior to the pandemic. So they're now setting records for rail travel between Portland and British Columbia. So the health is here. And what they're doing is they're debuting brand new trains next year, which are finally going to look like something from 2020, 2025, as opposed to a train that smells like it was built in 1975 and creaks and creaks and creaks like 1975.
Funny that you mentioned that, because I was going to ask y'all, like, when was the last time you took a train ride here in the United States? When you're in Europe, you take trains all the time.
Everywhere.
But when was have you ever been on a train to get anywhere?
And it's funny you say that. Out in Spain, that's all we were getting through.
But not in the U.S.
No.
I mean, so I have taken it to go down to Oregon.
Yeah, me too.
But I've only done it a couple of times. And each time I've done it, I've
I
been
heard it's beautiful.
I was going to say, I'm pleasantly surprised. If you don't mind a whole bunch of stops.
Yeah, it takes...
It just takes longer.
And of course, since Amtrak doesn't own the tracks, the freight always gets priority. So it's, it's not like it's a seamless, but there are a ton of stops. But the cars are old, they're kind of smelly. They're outdated.
Yeah.
The new Aero trains, AIRO, they are going to debut next year. They're being built here in the U.S. They're going to have 5G Wi-Fi. They're going to have bigger, nice seats. They're going to have brand new food and beverage carts and service and new all sorts of amenities and things that we haven't seen in a very long time.
So they're going to have a whole branding and PR opportunity.
Of course.
To try to basically change people's minds when it comes to taking the train.
Yeah, hopefully it'll be cleaner, it'll be safer, it'll be a much more enjoyable experience. So we'll see. I mean, those trains come online. We're the first place in the country to get them.
Oh.
And so they're going to debut here sometime next year. They'll be there just before the new maintenance facility opens up, which is being built specifically for them. It's interesting. I mean, people probably don't think about rail, but not everybody here has cars. And if you want to take a trip down to Portland or up to BC, it's a pretty easy way to go.
It is a fun thing.
It's relatively inexpensive. When
fun
we were
thing
kids,
to do with the family.
Yeah,
or
we used to
friends?
come up from Portland to go to Seahawks games. Once or twice as kids, we just hop on the train, get off, go to the game, and get on the train and head back home to Portland. It's a fun experience. And, a million people using it. And so that's pretty healthy for this cast, considering the fact that it's had some issues in terms of delays and whatnot. Plus, we had the issue earlier this year where the cars weren't registered, didn't meet certifications, so they had to pull a whole bunch of train cars out of service and cancel trains. That shouldn't be an issue. Yeah, well, of course, yeah. And that's the other thing about these trains can go 149 miles an hour.
Oh, wow.
So now they won't be able to do that in Washington State because the guidelines are 79 miles an hour max, but they have the capability to go faster. So on the East Coast, it can be a faster ride. I mean, it's not a bullet train, but they have the ability to go faster too. So
okay, cool.
So we'll see.
Something to look forward to.
Yeah, I got a whole bunch of write-up and some videos and stuff at mynorthwest.com if you wanted to check things out, see some video. That's what they're building, those giant pilings there just south of Holgate there, right out at 4th. So that's what they're doing. Sure, anytime.
Appreciate it. Okay, hey, G, question.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think is the biggest problem facing our state right now? And all of you listening, I've got the same question for all of you. Text us, 888-973-5476, 888-9073. What is the biggest issue for you right now facing our state?
I think the biggest issue will be whether or not federal funding will come to this state. And because of our budget deficit that's looming over our heads and how to get the money, I think this is something that you are going to have in your top stories for the next 2 years.
So for me, I still think it is the lack of affordability and then just the over-reliance on just adding more taxes to people who are already, I feel, overburdened. But the Seattle Times FYI guy, Gene Balk, reports that there's this new survey of people in Washington and their top issues, first of all, is homelessness, which we talk about quite frequently on this show. And that is, again, lack of affordability and other issues that play into our homelessness crisis. But for the first time ever, there's a new problem facing our state, and that is tariffs. and people listed tariffs as one of their big issues, which
I get it. I get why that would be there as well. I mean, there are people that know and that are smarter than me, that are on the level of economists that understand that if this continues on, which it's already started, what this is going to be. Like I saw it last night. Have you all been seeing how car commercials are advertising now? They are telling you now to
jump
get
on
here.
it now.
They're telling you, go look at these car commercials.
Yes.
They're telling you.
Yes.
So buying someone a car, getting ready to go to college at the end of the summer, good luck.
Yeah, well, you're going to see it even more so in the coming weeks. So we've kind of had a bit of a reprieve, but because a lot of companies were buying ahead of the tariffs going into effect. But a lot of these prices, I mean, it's going to be very interesting to see come back to school time and then, next holiday season, what we're talking about. Yeah. But yeah, this was interesting, though, that in the state of Washington, it is a big concern.
Yeah, I'm sure it is a big concern. But I think mine right now, it's definitely the threat of federal funding. The threat right now, I'm sure we'll talk about it tomorrow. It's out in the Tacoma News Tribune that Pierce County is one of the counties right now that are going to be suing the Trump administration. And the reason why they're going to do that is because the Trump administration is saying, here's federal money, here's federal dollars, but this is how you have to spend it, right? So being able to control that. Well, right now in this state and even all across the country, there are a lot of nonprofits that are being hampered by the threat of not getting those federal funds because this nonprofit isn't doing what the Trump administration wants. So, yeah, there's a lot of concerns, but I understand tariffs being there too.
And I would argue that a lot of people probably had no idea how tariffs even work until maybe just the last year or so, right? I mean, all of a sudden it's like everyone's getting a much deeper dive and a much stronger understanding of what tariffs are.
3 small businesses, Ursula.
Yeah.
3 small businesses that you would drive to.
Okay.
Right now, I only got 1.
Okay.
But we're going to talk about it. By the way, small businesses, everyone.
Okay.
You can't be picking any big. It's a small business that I will drive to Aberdeen or I will drive here. But during the break, I'll ask you this. I need you, if you know me so well, and you've been a day one listener of this show, I want you to text in 888-973-5476 and text the one place that you know that G would drive to. Only one. If you get it right, I'm going to put next to your name.
You're going to buy lunch for all of us.
None. No.
Come on. Okay.
No.
You offered that.
But if people text in, I'm gonna write down like G's people next to them because that means they know me well. So I'm gonna put a little special thing next to their name on the text line.
What about lunch? You always throw that out there. You dangle out there when
Nick, we got to come up with something to lunch because Ursula's tired of losing the lunch deal.
She really wants the lunch.
All right. You text in. You let me know the one place that I would drive to. And then, by the way, we want to hear from you. What are the 3 places that you would drive to as well? Gee Ursula.
This hour is brought to you by Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington.
KIRO Newsradio, the Northwest's trusted news source.
Get the latest from KIRO Newsradio's James Lynch.
It happened Wednesday morning just after 6 o'clock.
Experienced voices you trust.
Several people hurt after a violent Saturday in Pierce County.
Coverage you depend on.
More from KIRO Newsradio's Matt Markovich.
It's as close to a veto warning as you could possibly get.
KIRO Newsradio. We're on YouTube, our app, your smart speaker, and 97.3 FM.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contest are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on mynorthwest.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
It's John Curley with a big deal from Window Nation. During their semi-annual sale, right now, get 60% off. And if you buy windows for your entire house, you get a free exterior door, too. And you could get 0 down, 0 interest, and no payments locked in for 2 years. Their energy-efficient windows help cut noise, lower your bills, and reduce your carbon footprint, all with modern style. Backed by a 25-year warranty and transparent pricing, Window Nation gives you the long-lasting comfort without the gimmicks. Made locally with Milgard right here in Tacoma, 866-90Nation or windownation.com.
Nearly everyone wants to grow old in their own home. Yet, according to research conducted by Stanford University, 70% of Americans will not achieve this goal, despite having done a lot of retirement planning. Now, why does this happen? Hi, I'm Rajiv Nagaich, an elder law attorney who's been studying this phenomena for the last 20 plus years. The problem isn't the planning that you do. The problem is what you haven't been told. That's why retirement becomes a nightmare. Now, if you're wondering what you haven't been told, come to one of my retirement seminars this month. I'll shine the spotlight in all the dark corners so you can retire with confidence.
Join the free seminar in Federal Way on May 13th, Tacoma on May 15th, or Bellevue on May 17th. Register at lifepointlaw.com. That's lifepointlaw.com. Or call 253-838-3454.
An illegal alien from Guatemala charged with raping a child in Massachusetts. An MS-13 gang member from El Salvador accused of murdering a Texas man. A Venezuelan charged with filming and selling child pornography in Michigan. These are just some of the heinous migrant criminals caught because of President Donald J. Trump's leadership. I'm Kristi Noem, the United States Secretary of Homeland Security. Under President Trump, attempted illegal border crossings are at the lowest levels ever recorded, and over 100,000 illegal aliens have been arrested. If you are here illegally, you're next. You will be fined nearly $1,000 a day, imprisoned, and deported. You will never return. But if you register using our CBP Home app and leave now, you could be allowed to return legally. Do what's right. Leave now. Under President Trump, America's laws, border, and families will be protected.
Sponsored by the United States Department of Homeland Security.
If you're thinking about renovating an attic, spending more time in your sunroom, or building onto your home, a Carrier ductless unit is the perfect solution for climate control. It's efficient, quiet, and incredibly flexible when it comes to installation because there's no ductwork required. It's just one more way we're making your home totally comfortable.
Your local Carrier heating and cooling dealer will improve your home's comfort, air quality, and efficiency. Visit CarrierNorthwest.com to find the expert near you. Carrier, turn to the experts.
This is Ray. His passion is weightlifting.
In the past, I have competed in some natural bodybuilding competitions.
And then one day, his body said no.
I was working out and I just felt this pop. It was followed with this extreme pain. I saw a doctor about it. I had an MRI and they said that you'll be able to live with it.
But Ray wasn't about to live with it. He went to Dr. Mark Wagner, MD at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine for stem cell therapy.
I couldn't have imagined that it was going to heal that rapidly. Really, it's just the peace of mind is the greatest portion of it. I don't have to think that. I just have to be careful at everything I do or else I might re-injure myself.
Would you recommend this to other people?
Absolutely. And I already have. I have been just a huge advocate for it now.
So whether it's a shoulder, hip, or knee that's stopping you from pulling your own weight, before you choose surgery, consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Get the facts, hear from all the patients I've talked to, and schedule your consultation at drmarkwagnermd.com.
Charlie Harger here. When your hot turns to cold, you better think fast. Fast water heater. Call 1-800-THINK-FAST. That's 1-800-THINK-FAST or fastwaterheater.com.
You better think fast. Fast water heater.
Head to Nisqually Red Wind Casino in May during the Lucky Run giveaway. You could win big with a dealership credit and more. Free entries every Friday and Saturday. Bonus entries for military VIPs and those 50 plus. Nisqually Red Wind Casino is the South Sound's premier destination. Voted best casino, best host, best promotions, and best for fun. Players can always get in on the action with specials and dining discounts at their casual or fine dining restaurants. More details at redwindcasino.com. Only at Nisqually Red Wind Casino, your VIP see here.
The team that gave me back my full head of hair, Advanced Hair, is once again the winner of the 425 Business of the Year. Dr. Perungo and his world-class team begin regrowing your own natural hair the very next day. And Advanced Hair guarantees your new hair will grow, just like they did for me. Find out why Advanced Hair is the best of the best. With your free consultation, you'll receive $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. 425-449-8185 or advancedhair.com.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Heather Bosch. President Trump is again proposing Canada become a 51st state. At a meeting at the White House with newly elected Prime Minister Mark Carney moments ago, he said,
I do feel it's much better for Canada, but we're not going to be discussing that unless somebody wants to discuss it.
But with Carney right next to him, Trump persisted.
There are tremendous benefits to the Canadian citizens, tremendously lower taxes, free military, which honestly we give you essentially anyway because we're protecting Canada if you ever had a problem.
When Carney said Canada is not for sale,
never say never. Never say never.
Things got tense. The press was ushered out. Real ID goes into effect tomorrow. But if you didn't manage to get your enhanced Washington state driver's license and need to fly, Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem says,
What will happen tomorrow is folks will come through the line and will issue their ID and show it. If it's not compliant, they may be diverted to a different line, have an extra step, but people will be allowed to fly.
It will take you some extra time, though. Dozens of pro-Palestinian protesters are facing trespassing and other charges after they were arrested at the University of Washington last night. KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey is there.
A street sweeper and cleanup after a night of pro-Palestinian protesters occupied the engineering building and set fire to a dumpster. Protesters are calling on UW to cut ties with Boeing after the military contractor donated $10 million to build this engineering building. The university says they will not tolerate anti-Semitism on campus.
Israel has launched airstrikes in Yemen days after Houthi rebels fired a missile that hit near Israel's Ben Gurion airport. CBS's Remy Inocencio.
The IDF confirmed that it did launch what it calls a wave of airstrikes and that it has now destroyed the Sana'a International Airport in Yemen's capital. The military there says the airport is now completely disabled. This airport is Houthi controlled, and social media posts claim to show explosions, plumes of smoke there.
Catholic cardinals have gathered in Rome to select a new pope. Mary Calvi with more on that.
2 Americans have seen growing support. 72-year-old Cardinal Joseph Tobin of Newark, New Jersey, a gifted linguist who has served in senior Vatican positions. 69-year-old Cardinal Robert Prevost from Chicago, who heads the Vatican's department overseeing bishops, spent years working in Peru.
The conclave begins tomorrow. On Wall Street, the Dow is down 300 points. NASDAQ is off 129. From the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Desk in Seattle, a crash is blocking a lane on I-5 southbound near Union Street, and a disabled vehicle is blocking a lane on I-5 southbound at the Boeing Access Road. Southbound, you are backed up through Seattle, but it's northbound that has you really slow. Federal Way to Seattle travel time, 50 minutes. That's about 20 longer than typical. The crash has been cleared from the Highway 99 tunnel northbound. You're still backed up off and on to South Park. Traffic brought to you by Global Credit Union, where members enjoy no-fee accounts and early payday with direct deposit. Learn more at globalcu.org. This weather update brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Mostly sunny skies today. We'll see highs around 77. It's 58 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show. Coming up in the, let's say about 15 minutes from now, we're going to do scenarios, which is always one of the most fun segments of the day. But right now we're going to talk about something else that's fun.
Yeah.
And the question is, what small business in Washington are you willing to get in your car and drive, even if it takes a few hours?
Right.
And Gee, you had a challenge for our listeners. Yeah. If they could guess, you were going to give them some kind of prize.
I was going to put a star next to their name, so now I know when they text in, those are my people. So I got a few.
Okay.
The answer is miners in Yakima. Let's see. Ursula, I got Jay and Lacey. Got it right. I also have Eddie Eddie got it right.
Sarah
got it right. Sherry and Edmonds got it right.
Wow.
Yeah, so we got a few. Oh, and Todd Graves got it right. Some of you all. And then some of the ones that didn't get it right, they so funny.
What did they say?
To go camping, to go buy some sunglasses, to the Louis Vuitton store, to Bellevue.
But see, they're just showing you that they also know you well. They might not know where you would drive to eat, but they know what you value.
206 says, I think G would also go to his barber. Yeah. So where are you going, Ursula?
Well, okay, there are a couple. I came up with 2, but I actually have 3, but there's multiple locations for this. Okay, so first would be Janelle's Pies and Flowers in Milton.
I had that on my list for you.
I was trying to think, like, how far would I actually drive? That's probably the farthest I've driven for a pie.
Uh-huh.
And it's because she's got caramel apple pie and her Milky Way pie, which she actually named after me. They are to die for. And the fact that she's such a sweetheart. I will drive to Milton, which normally whenever I drive to go pick up the pies, I'm usually dealing with tons of traffic. The other one, and I know for all of you who go to Lake Chelan on a regular basis, Lakeview Drive-In. I don't know what it is about that place, but that is always our first place to stop at when we go to Lake Chelan. It's our last place we go on the way out of Lake Chelan. And during the time we are in Lake Chelan, we go there at least 3 times.
Nice.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
So yeah, it's just like this throwback in time. They used to actually do all their they finally got cash registers but they used to do all their calculations by hand.
Right.
Like you buy the milkshake or whatever, and they add everything up by hand. It was really cute.
They have
it was
those
really
silver tins they make milkshakes in.
Yes, it was just like a throwback in time, and then they've got these buckets of fries. So they're not that
You sold
anyone
G.
needs a bucket of fries, but there's something about their seasoning of those fries amazing. And then the other one is there's a McMenamins. I love McMenamins. I think they're great, and each location is so different. And I went to the one in Tacoma just to check it out, and that was really cool.
It was good?
Yeah.
Good.
I got a couple.
Yeah.
If you have any vacation plans this summer, you might want to take some notes. So first off, this would probably be number 3, would be Hama Hama Oyster Saloon over on Hood Canal. It's over on the other side. It's right on the beach. They pull the oysters right out. They barbecue them, shuck them for you. They usually have live music going on. One time I went and they had a bunch of chefs like from down in Texas and Louisiana that were doing Southern style oysters. It's just a great vibe. The other one is Beach Store Cafe on Lummi Island. That was the first place I'd ever had Detroit-style pizza. And to this day, and I've had it probably 10, 12 times, it is by far the best I've ever tasted. And it's just such a cute little spot right there on Lummi.
It really is. You know what's really funny, too? Now I only know Lummi because my sister now lives there, at least part of the time. And I ate at that restaurant. I'd never had that kind of pizza.
Yeah.
And I had a Greek version of that kind of pizza.
Okay.
And then, but she told me, like, that's the only restaurant, essentially.
Pretty much, yeah, that's it. Last one, though. If you like real French pastry, you have to check out Saboteur Bakery in Bremerton. It is, in my opinion, better than Bakery Nouveau by a long shot, and that's saying something. It's a tiny little place. They have the best croissants I've ever had in my life.
Oh.
The pastry is incredible. I have this thing where if I eat something that is exponentially delicious, like I actually get tears in my eyes. I was like crying while I was eating the food. It was
okay, you
so
know it's
good.
good.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So the reason we're talking about this is Fox 13 News did this survey, and so there were in their survey, number 3 was Village Books in Bellingham. So it's an indie bookstore with views of Bellingham Bay. You know, by the way, Bellingham, what a cute destination spot to visit.
I've had some good times
Absolutely.
there.
I'm almost afraid. Number 2, now they didn't go with it. They just went small business, not food. Yeah. And they said number 2, Pink Gorilla Games in Seattle. And then number 1 was Easy Street Records in West Seattle.
Oh, yeah.
Which I know is a very popular
By the way,
spot.
I was about to bring up West Seattle because there's a spot that I keep hearing about. It's called Lady J. over in West Seattle off California, and their specialty is meat, prime ribs and steaks. But anyway,
that
it's
would
a
be
butcher.
your place.
Yeah, all that stuff. And then people were saying, G would go down to Blue Max in Puyallup. You know I love Blue Max. That's all my partners in there. What's up, buddy? That's it. That's where I go down there. So that was fun.
I love that.
I
reading.
wonder if my wife even knows what's the one small business that I would want to drive to.
Well, you better say Lillian's Loaf Cakes first.
I'm texting her right now. What business do you think that I would drive to?
Carrie and Bonnie Lake says the Pie Goddess in Enumclaw is also great. Jerry in 206 says Spaghetti House in Long Beach. Carl in Wilkinson says Mom's European Deli in Soap Lake. Delicious Russian dumplings, freshly handmade. Yum.
Oh, somebody recommended Bennett's Seafood Shack or Fish Shack in Westport. Fish and chips, fish tacos. I'm looking at them.
Oh, some of the best pizza I've had is out in Seabrook, an hour north of Ocean Shores. Great little beach town out there. Some of the best wood pizza you can get. Other side of the state, Walla Walla, there's a place called Salted Mill. Some of the best mac and cheese I've had. They call it Mom's Mac and Cheese. They charge like $20 for it, but it's worth it.
Now, I'll say this. If you go to Ursula, if you're ever in Puyallup and you go to Blue Max, and I'm being serious now, you get their trail mix. And their trail mix is a bunch of jerky and cheese, little bites they put in the bag.
That's just a protein-filled trail mix.
Oh, change your life. Change your life. Different cheeses, different jerky and all in there. Ooh. Little chunks in there, and you just eating your jerky all the way. Oh, all right. So, by the way, have y'all noticed that in 2025, the Gee and Ursula Show always goes to food? This is the hungriest damn show in the world.
I know.
Scenarios next. Gee and Ursula.
Choke Points with Chris Sullivan.
With Choke Points, we try to answer listeners' questions. It can be as simple as a neighborhood stop sign, or it can be as big as the budget for transportation. I don't care. I'll find the answer for you. It's really easy to get a hold of me at mynorthwest.com. We have a direct link there that gets right to me. You can also do it in the app. You can hit me up on the text line.
Choke Points, presented by Carter Subaru. Tuesdays and Thursdays on KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM.
If you want a dream bathroom without a humongous price tag, now's the time to call Bathfitter Northwest. Ursula Reutin here. I picked Bathfitter because they are the original one-day bath remodeler. They're a local family-owned business that's been around for 40 years. They own every step in the process to make sure you get the best quality product and the best value. Right now, get 0% interest for 24 months, and for a limited time, they'll pay your sales tax. Why would you choose anyone else? Call Bathfitter today.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
Hey, Green Goblin here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Get ready for Camping World's Red, White, and New Trade event, May 15th through the 18th. Get the highest value for your RV guaranteed during the biggest RV trade event of the year. Shop the best RV deals in America with new RVs starting as low as $92 a month. Get ready for the holiday weekend with up to 45% off grills and 25% off product installation. Plus, we'll have free hats, free propane refills, free food, and fun for the whole family. Don't miss the incredible Red, White, and New Trade event, May 15th through the 18th at your local Camping World.
See dealer for full details and disclaimer.
At Lake Washington Windows and Doors, we offer premium windows that are 25% more energy efficient, reduce noise by 50%, and come with clean glass technology. And Leak Armor installation gives you a lifetime warranty to protect your home. Visit LakeWashingtonWindows.com.
Lake Washington Windows and Doors makes it easy to enjoy new windows with clean glass technology now and defer paying for them until 2026 with 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for 12 months. Visit LakeWashingtonWindows.com.
It's Jim Singletary, Chief Roof Nerd at RoofSmart, here to tell you the right way to choose a roofer. And it's not by choosing the lowest bid. Just comparing numbers? Terrible idea. A low price doesn't tell you if the job will be done right, and it definitely doesn't tell you anything about the contractor. Instead, treat hiring a roofer like a job interview. Ask them, why did my old roof fail early? What's the right solution for me, and why? Have you been around for at least 10 years? A new roof is a huge investment, and the job shouldn't go to the lowest bidder. It should go to the most qualified. At RoofSmart, we've got over a decade of experience, a team of more than 50 full-time pros, and real answers, not just numbers. Plus, we're certified, insured, and properly licensed. We'd love to apply for your roofing job. Call 206-487-4877 or visit GetRoofSmart.com today. That's 206-487-4877 or online at GetRoofSmart.com.
I've never had any complaints about my performance in the bedroom. But after turning 40, I noticed my libido just wasn't what it used to be. That's when I reached out to Revive Health. Their team knew exactly what I needed, which is why today, my wife and I are both more satisfied than ever.
If you're ready to book your free T-check, text BOOST to 65555 or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com to schedule your appointment. Message and data rates may apply. Message frequency varies. Text help for help. Text stop to cancel. See privacy policy at ReviveMen'sHealth.com/privacy for info on how opt-in info will be used. And terms and conditions at ReviveMen'sHealth.com/terms of use for terms of short code service.
Okay, it is the Gee and Ursula Show. I don't know, but some reason we always talk about food here on this show in 2025. But it's better than talk food than some of the other topics we could be talking about. Let's go to scenarios.
Here we go, yo. So what's the scenario?
I've been dating this guy for the last year. Everything's been going super well. He has an adorable dog that I just love, and that's a big deal because I don't usually like dogs. The dog sleeps in his bed, and that's cool. Well, last week, I stayed over for the first time and didn't tell him that I have what you want to call an overactive bladder. And sometimes I've wet the bed. Now, not all the time, but I have before. I should have known. My anxiety was up. First time spending the night, I was worrying about if I would do it, and yep, it happened. I blamed it on the dog. I told the dog, obviously, he's probably, jealous of me being here. Now my boyfriend is embarrassed and feels bad for me that his dog wet the bed. And now he's making comments about wanting to maybe have the dog go somewhere else when I come over. He loves his dog, and now I'm terrified to tell him that it was me. If he were to give up his dog on the days that I come over, that is just totally unfair. And I should tell him. What are your thoughts? 888-973-5476. By the way, I don't even know if dogs do pee to bed, if you really think about it. Do they? Dogs pee to bed?
Yes.
Oh, wait. Let me ask the dog.
From experience.
Does Scooter pee to bed?
Scooter has never peed in our bed. Now, as he gets older, could he? But he's no longer in our bed. Do you know? Okay, we used to have Scooter in the bed all the time. Okay, just before I answer the question, I just want to share this. And I know that it wasn't a great thing, but I mean, he was just starting to take over the bed before we had the remodel and bought a bigger bed. And this bigger bed is higher off the ground.
So he can't get up there?
Can't get up. And it has been the best.
Right.
It was the way we could break our own bad habit that we created for ourselves.
Right.
And we just have to give Scooter extra hugs. That all said.
But Scooter ain't even peeing the bed.
No, he'd never pee
That's
in
what
bed.
I'm saying.
No. But does it happen? Yes.
Okay.
And here's the answer. The truth will always set you free. Tell the truth. Just say, you know what? I was embarrassed. He will respect you so much more if, okay, you're shaking your head. He will respect you so much more if you are honest and say, I was so embarrassed that I blamed the dog, but it really was me. And I, you're shaking your head, but I'm just saying that it's terrible that he's thinking of homing the dog somewhere else anytime she comes over. And eventually, if they're going to be together and she has this overactive bladder, by the way, there are things that she can do for that. And there are things that medically that you can have some interventions that will help with that. Yeah. Even some medications. Mm-hmm. So I would just be honest.
No.
The guys in the room are disagreeing with me.
Like, you get a chance to be the bigger person.
You're going to be so turned off the fact that she wet the bed.
No.
That you're not going to be in a relationship with
No.
her? So why wouldn't you tell the truth?
Well, because if I did that, do you know how embarrassed I would be? Like, I wouldn't want to cop up to it. I don't know. That's more like a 2-year thing. If you're in the relationship for 2 years. But right now, you can just come off as the gracious person and say, you know what? I just love your dog so much that it's not a big deal.
But
I'm
you're
not
lying.
worried about it. I'm sure that he'll get comfortable over time. Yeah.
So you're
this
saying
is a little white lie.
Continue with the lie.
Yeah, and do some kegels.
So if it happens again, no, you're right. That is one of the things you can do. If the kegels don't work in time and it happens again, are you going to blame it on the dog again?
So here's what you got to do. You can't fess up to that one because it's too late. Blame that one on the dog. Keep that on the dog. Now, for further, and you got something to do. You can't really stay the night all the time, right? So you want to make sure you don't go pee-pee in his bed. So you want to stay home, and then we go now. Now, when you start getting to a year into the relationship, right? You done gone through some holidays, Ursula. Now, this is your time to say, hey, just so you know, I don't know what it is, but lately, you know what I'm saying, I've been kind of tinkling, you know what I mean? And so I just want to let you know about what's going on. And so when you go to sleep in the bed, you can find you some lingerie Depends, you know what I mean? That you can just kind of...
You're not the most attractive.
Lingerie.
But this one, do not fess up to it. Keep this on the dog.
No.
Because, listen, lady. That man will never, if you just say, hey, I just want you to know that wasn't the dog, that was me, that man will have to go to work knowing that he slept in the bed and the lady he was with peed on him. The first time, hey, how'd you guys get together?
Okay,
well, the first time we got together, she
I'm holding
peed
back my
on
tongue
me.
about that particular thing because I know people have weird fetishes. However, I'm going to say that I think that she would... I would rather know the truth than to blame the darn dog. And again, take the concept. I mean, if he bows out and says, yeah, I can't deal with a woman, then you know, because it's going to happen again in the future. And by the way, Theo has the winning text message of the day. He says he already knows the truth. He knows the truth. His dog has never peed the bed.
His dogs don't pee the bed. He does.
I've never heard of satin depends either, but I don't think there's any avoiding blame with this hot mess she made, no pun intended. I think after all this time, too, the owner knows the bladder habits of the canine. He has a good understanding that you're the changing variable in this equation. So if I'm in her shoes trying to move the blame forward, there's a good chance if she tries that, she'll be the one getting let out to the doghouse.
Who let the dogs out?
Maybe if he really loves you, you'll get a second chance, but this one sounds like a sticky situation.
Barb from Burien. Gee, how you do anything is how you do everything.
Thank you,
so
Barb.
So you say it's okay to lie about bedwetting? Come on, G. Hey, Barb, you're right. But this one, blame it on the dog.
Oh, Isabella,
do
no.
not admit it.
You guys
ladies,
are so wrong, Isabella says. You want honesty in a relationship and a
fellas, you
little
guys
bit...
notice you know how shallow we are. If the first time we slept together and you peed...
Do you blame your farts on the dog? folks listening.
A lot of people do.
Mm-hmm. Oh, sorry, that was the dog.
A lot of times you pretend like it didn't even happen.
Oh, please.
you just sitting there. You're just like, man.
I mean, why are we so uptight about bodily functions?
Our good buddy Angela Poe Russell just texted us, and she said, "Yep, lie. I'm normally the truth lady here."
I'm gonna, for once, disagree with Angela.
If you lie about it up front, it's just gonna get worse when he finds out it's you later. I'm just saying.
Thank you. See?
Oh, agree to disagree. Comes up next. Gee Ursula.
If you want a dream bathroom without a humongous price tag, now's the time to call Bathfitter Northwest. Ursula Reutin here. I picked Bathfitter because they are the original one-day bath remodeler. They're a local, family-owned business that's been around for 40 years. They own every step in the process to make sure you get the best quality product and the best value. Right now, get 0% interest for 24 months, and for a limited time, they'll pay your sales tax. Why would you choose anyone else? Call Bathfitter today.
Stop feeling embarrassed about thinning hair and start looking and feeling your best with Hair Grow by New Nordic. Available online at Amazon, Walmart.com, and NewNordicUSA.com, or at your local CVS.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
Are you really that different than the rest of us?
We are. As a fiduciary, we always focus on what's best for our clients.
What services do you offer besides investing?
We have a team of specialists in financial planning, estate planning, and more.
Your clients rely on you for all that?
Yes, we ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Okay, but you still sell commission-based products, right?
No, because we believe that's a conflict of interest. We prioritize service over sales goals.
So, then how do your fees work?
We have a simple and transparent fee that's a percentage of our clients' portfolios. So we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, we're more different than I thought.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Sharp Vision Modern LASIK and Lens has given me back clear vision. The process was simple and easy. I scheduled my free consultation and discovered I was at the early stage of cataracts and a perfect candidate for RLE. They restored clarity and brightness to my vision like when I was in my 20s, and I'll never need readers again and never develop cataracts. Sharp Vision Modern LASIK and Lens are taking RLE surgery to the next level. Call them now at 425-451-2020 or go online to sharp-vision.com, official eye care provider of Sounders FC.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Worried about your battery and the heat? We get it. You don't want to get stranded somewhere with a car that feels like an oven. We've got you covered at AutoZone, America's #1 battery destination. Our free battery testing and charging service can help. And if you need a battery, we'll help you find a new one, no problem. Power through with free battery testing and charging at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
If you're thinking about renovating an attic, spending more time in your sunroom, or building onto your home, a Carrier ductless unit is the perfect solution for climate control. It's efficient, quiet, and incredibly flexible when it comes to installation because there's no ductwork required. It's just one more way we're making your home totally comfortable.
Your local Carrier heating and cooling dealer will improve your home's comfort, air quality, and efficiency. Visit CarrierNorthwest.com to find the expert near you. Carrier, turn to the experts.
Your best source for local news. KIRO Newsradio, KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle, Northwest News.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Cammie McCormick. President Trump is hosting Canada's new prime minister at the White House to discuss what the president describes as some tough points. Linda Kenyon reports.
Trade is one of those tough points, especially since President Trump imposed 25% tariffs on cars made in Canada.
We want to make our own cars. We don't really want cars from Canada.
The other tough point? The president's comments about making Canada the 51st state.
There are tremendous benefits to the Canadian citizens, tremendously lower taxes, free military.
Trump pushed the issue even further.
Never say never. Never say never.
While Canadian Prime Minister Carney did seem to say never.
As you know from real estate, there are some places that are never for sale.
Linda Kenyon, CBS News, the White House.
CBS's Kelly O'Grady was monitoring Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent's testimony on Capitol Hill today for any news on trade talks.
He confirmed there are no ongoing trade negotiation talks with China. There has been a lot of confusing messaging coming from the president, coming from the Chinese, that there are talks, there aren't talks.
Trump also announced the Houthi rebels in Yemen will stop attacking ships in the Red Sea.
No, it's not a deal. They've said, please don't bomb us anymore, and we're not going to attack your ships.
Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem said today travelers who don't have their real IDs by tomorrow's deadline should still be able to fly, but there will be extra scrutiny at the airport.
We are telling people that this law will be enforced, and it will allow us to know individuals in this country who they are and that they're authorized to travel.
A second judge has ruled that the Trump administration cannot use the 18th Century Wartime Act to swiftly deport people who it says are Venezuelan gang members. Columbia University says it will lay off workers over a freeze in federal funding. Michael Wallace has that.
Columbia is cutting 180 staff members who work on research that relies on federal grants. Earlier this year, the Trump administration paused $400 million of Columbia's funding, alleging anti-Semitism on campus. In a letter to the Columbia community, acting president Claire Shipman says the financial strain has become intense. She says the school is looking for alternate funding sources to keep its research going.
Anticipation's building in Rome ahead of the conclave to elect a new pope. CBS Papal contributor Candida Moss.
I think there's going to be a little bit of a swing back to the center of the Catholic Church, and there's going to be a lot of debate about whether or not we want someone like Francis. Everyone wants that Francis magic, but they don't necessarily want the Francis manifesto.
On Wall Street at this hour, the Dow Jones Industrials are down 373 points. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
The handyman accused of killing a Tenino grandmother goes to court. That story coming up, but first from the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Desk. In Kent, a crash is blocking a lane on State Route 167 northbound near 24th Street East. No significant backup there just yet. In Seattle, a crash is blocking a lane on I-5 southbound near Union Street, and a disabled vehicle is blocking a lane on I-5 southbound at Boeing Access Road. Southbound, you are backed up throughout the city. Your northbound congestion is easing. Travel time Federal Way to Seattle is 39 minutes now, about 10 longer than typical. Traffic brought to you by Seattle Sports. Download the Seattle Sports app to stay in the know with the latest news, scores, and opinions about your favorite teams.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Heather Bosch. A Thurston County handyman accused of murdering an 82-year-old Tenino grandmother today entered his plea in court.
Mr. Ziz, on your behalf, the court is entering not guilty pleas to the 4 counts.
47-year-old Jeffrey Ziz is charged with first-degree murder, felony murder, kidnapping, and unlawful disposal of remains. Court documents show he had dinner with Marcia Norman April 1st. Days later, her body was found buried in concrete under a shed. He's due back in court later this month. Police are crediting the public for helping them arrest a 43-year-old motorcycle rider who's accused in a deadly hit-and-run crash in South Seattle.
Many tips came in that helped us to identify the make and model and year of that motorcycle. We received additional tips for suspect information.
Police tell KIRO 7 TV the suspect is accused of hitting and killing a woman and injuring her husband 2.5 weeks ago. Seattle police are searching for the driver of an SUV who hit and killed an 83-year-old woman who was in a crosswalk. This happened yesterday morning on 4th Avenue South and South Spokane Street. Contact police if you have information about that driver. We're learning more about the escape of an inmate from Bowling Green, Kentucky at SeaTac Airport. 28-year-old Cedric Stevenson hopped onto a light rail train, got off in Seattle's Capitol Hill, and disappeared.
Stevenson was in the custody of Prisoner Transport Services, a private company contracted by the Warren County, Kentucky Sheriff's Office. Sheriff Brett Hightower says,
I've been in office going on my 7th year. This is the first time we've had any situation like this.
At least 5 fugitives have died in PTS custody since 2012, and the company has been the subject of a congressional investigation about its transport practices. James Lynch, KIRO Newsradio.
For the first time in a month, the Mariners have lost 2 games in a row. The M's falling to the Athletics 6-7. M's manager Dan Wilson shouldering the blame for the loss.
That's on me, and that's a tough way to lose.
Wilson faces criticism for urging M's pitcher Casey Legumina to walk back-to-back batters, loading up the bases in the bottom of the 11th inning. This weather update brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Mostly sunny skies today with highs around 77. It's 61 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with the KIRO Newsradio App. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO Newsradio, Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show with G. Scott and Ursula Reutin.
Hey, everybody. It is the Gee and Ursula Show. Happy Tuesday, May 6th. How's your week going? Text us, 888-973-5476. Let us know.
How's your week going?
Fantastic.
It's hard to be in a bad mood with the weather we've been having.
It's fantastic. And also, I was, about 3 weeks ago, Ursula, I was at a small little gathering. And this guy was talking about working out. And he was talking about how he works out in the morning. And I said, oh, yeah, it'd be tough because I have my morning meeting at this time. And I was like, and I drive an hour away. And he was like, oh, yeah. He was like, sure, it makes you feel better. He was like, I just sacrifice it. I make sure I get it done even before my meetings. And it was the way he said it. Mm-hmm. He said it in a way.
It's a choice.
He didn't say to me, hey, I think you should make a choice. It just was a challenge. So now for the last 3 weeks, working out early in the morning has really changed my days.
Starts your day right.
Yeah.
You know how I ended my day yesterday?
How?
I played pickleball.
Say what?
Yeah,
Who was you playing with?
My son got me out there on the pickleball court.
Steven got his mama out there?
Yeah, I know. Since he's been back, man, he's keeping me active. He's just like, hey, let's walk Green Lake. Hey, let's go play pickleball. I think he knows that I keep finding excuses.
You know what's crazy?
And he's like, no, I'm just going to make you come out with me.
This morning, I just saw an Instagram reel where the guy says, hey, the best thing you can do for your parents is get them out there and exercise.
It's so true. I think he's just like, I don't want you to slow down. I've got a big birthday coming up. I want you to be there when we have grandkids and all that kind of stuff. So
it's getting you active.
Yes, which I'm just very appreciative of.
And long live Mark be sitting back at a cut like.
He's.
Yeah.
Mark knows better than to suggest anything that might make me think, what are you saying?
Right.
Okay. Hey, coming up at 11:30, I got a question for all of you. If you could design Mount Rushmore of music for the state of Washington, who would be on there? Like, give us the musicians that you think should be on there. Because we're going to be talking about some local musicians who are making it big right now. And one of them's just announced a concert.
Okay.
Benson Boone. But there's another one whose start included the Gee and Ursula Show, and she's making it big right now, too.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So we'll talk about that coming up at 11:30.
All right, let's get to it. Agree to disagree. Brought to you by Garden Roofing and Gutters. One of these days, we just got to take off the gloves. Just really go at it.
If you have never heard of a college bed party, don't worry, it's not probably what comes to mind. A college bed party is this new tradition started during the pandemic where kids will decorate their entire room. We're talking like 20, 30, 40 pieces of merch from whatever college that they are going to. They'll have a little photo shoot, and then they'll post it up on social media. Yay, made it to Stanford. Yay, I'm at Penn State. And that is how they let folks know where they're going to school. Gee, is that in poor taste?
Oh, no.
You know what? I just want to get through this show. No, I'm fine with it.
No,
I'm good. I'm good. If you want to, hey, listen.
Is it in poor taste? I mean, maybe that's not the question.
Yeah, that's not the question.
Yeah, what do you think of
I roll my eyes? Yes. I roll my eyes at that the same way I roll my eyes at that dinner party or get together when somebody just humbly so I'm just thinking we're going to Spain in June, and then we got to hurry up and get back, and then we have this going on in August. Then we got to pay for private school, so that's going to be a lot. I roll my eyes at all of it.
But do you feel the same way when people drive expensive cars or wear expensive watches or wear designer clothes?
No, I don't.
Why are you not triggered in that same way?
I don't mind that. I do mind if somebody says, "Hey, everybody! Hey, look at my nice car." I mean,
but in some way, aren't they doing that too? If the only thing they wear is,
I got one for you. I'll give you a perfect example.
Yeah.
How many times have I brought you and Chef out to my car?
Never.
How many times have you posted a photo?
You don't do it.
You know what I'm saying? Like to bring you into the car. Hey, check this out. Hey, look at what it does.
Yeah.
And never.
Yeah. You don't do it, but many people do. I mean, it's a status symbol, and I think this is just another extension of that. Showing people that not only did you get into this great school, but you have the money to. Okay, this is the cynical way of looking at it, and then I'll tell you the other way of looking at it too. It is a big deal for a lot of people, and it's a day to celebrate. And I mean, do I roll my eyes? No. But I just like, hey, it's another way of showing. It's like the gender reveals. It's like it's another way. Yeah. It's.
But by the way, being serious, I'm actually with you.
Yeah.
I'm being serious when I say this. I don't roll my eyes with kids. I do roll my eyes with adults, but with kids choosing a college, whether it's you a D1 basketball player or D1 football player, if you're choosing, hey, I'm letting everybody know which one I'm great with that.
I mean, it is a big fat deal when it happens, and. I mean, how much of your life is on Instagram already? It's just par for the course, right?
It's par for the course, but it's also poor taste, in my opinion. Like, if you have $5,000 literally of merchandise in your bedroom to announce where you're going to school, that's over the top to me. That says, I'm an incredibly privileged person from the outset. My parents can afford to buy me anything. I have my own Beamer sitting in the driveway. They're paying for me to go to Stanford because I'm not getting a scholarship, and I made it in somehow. Gee, I wonder how I made it in. How did I make it into Stanford with my incredibly rich parents? I don't know. It's just like, because nobody does this for small colleges. Nobody does this at Wazoo or UW that I've seen. It's always the big schools.
I'm going to disagree with you on some of that, just because I have seen on social media and for me, because I spend time, my algorithm does show me when they've got those, the music comes on and they're anxiously looking at the screen, and then everyone celebrates with joy or is really sad
cool.
when they don't.
like
that's all great. So I do get to see some of the other things, and the graduation bed. I didn't know it was called that, but the bedroom all decorated with. You know what? If that makes them happy, more power to you.
By the way, I don't know what it is, but there's a lot of you that is waiting for our 11:30 segment talking about music. I just want us to say that.
I know.
Okay, you guys are so ready.
The question is, and text us, Mount Rushmore for Washington music and musicians. Who would be on there?
Yeah. I will say, I think when we get to that topic, there are two on Mount Rushmore for Washington that I won't argue that they have to be on this list.
Okay.
Like, there's two, that's disrespectful to even do it. Okay. What do you got?
Well, did I mention when I was going to school in Boston, I listened to some fantastic music there. It's a Harvard joke for you folks. Anyways, let's move on to a man named Stuart Lucas Murray, who is suing 12 different women for defamation and invasion of privacy after they posted about him in the Are We Dating the Same Guy group on Facebook. So what he alleges is that because these women, he was dating some of them simultaneously and the others in the past, posted his photo, they ruined his reputation online, and now he's not able to get dates. Gee, do you think that's lawsuit worthy?
I wasn't really paying attention. So
because he was responding to someone on the text line.
But real quick, I think I know what this is.
Yeah.
There's somebody put him up online.
Are we dating the same guy?
Oh, I figured that's what it was.
Yep.
Hey, so I got a couple buddies that got done that way.
Really?
Yeah, it's rough, man. It's.
But do you think it's lawsuit worthy? Do you think he has a case to sue them for putting it on there?
Well, the only time it's lawsuit worthy is if there's defamation and
Yes,
if there's
if it's not true.
if there's things said that's not true. So what they usually do is this is what they do. They go ahead and they posted them on there, right? So they post them on there like, hey, what about this guy? And they just leave it up for question. And then everybody gets to just come in and be like, I remember this time and I remember this time.
Yeah, and as long as they have the receipts, I'm all for it. I mean, and it is this crew, and I
Why
do
don't you
know
like
that.
it? Why?
Because
shouldn't people have the power of information?
Yeah, and exactly. As long as it's truthful, I think this guy, instead of filing a lawsuit, he needs to have a moment of reflection and ask, why is it that all these women would say I'm a dirty dog? Maybe I am one. And maybe I need to clean up my act.
Look, I'll say this. Sometimes that person is a dirty dog. But a lot of times there's some women or just people in general, they just can't admit that person just didn't want them. And so instead they say, oh, that person was a dirty dog.
That's
true. No, Lisa,
he
just didn't want you.
But if 10 women are saying the same thing.
Of course.
And coming with the receipts. Yeah. Then
Well, the website was meant to catch cheaters.
Exactly.
Right. But I take it you've seen posts where it's not cheating necessarily. Yeah. It's just like trash talking some dude.
Or you could be like,
or they didn't expect to get caught and they're upset.
Right. This person stole from me. They stole my money.
Yeah, if they're lying about it, that can be harmful.
This person left out, didn't pay the rent.
Honk honk. All right, Ursula, further on the dating world, there's a debate about whether people should have a right to Photoshop their dating app photos and whether dating apps should filter for this and check to see if photos have been edited. What say you, Ursula? Gee is out of his chair.
Okay. First of all, I will say that a lot of people edit their photos, and you have to just assume that until you actually meet them in person, you might be in for a big surprise. So first of all, should that be banned, or should there be any regulations about it? No. I don't believe so, but just once you actually meet them in person, just understand that there's going to be a different reaction unless your relationship just stays online.
Yeah. Can I since we're talking about this, I just want to talk. Look, Ursula, the Photoshop, or excuse me, don't call it Photoshop. The editing of a picture, maybe the sunlight or bright or it's too dark or something like that. But now, Ursula, they got the AI stuff.
I think that's ridiculous.
I mean, come on now,
when
Ursula.
It's now AI,
they changed the middle of your face, and they just.
Yeah, that's too much.
That's too much.
Like, have I ever edited a photo of mine? Yes.
So have I.
Yeah, have I? If I'm looking and I'm like, oh, this, can I erase a few of the bags underneath my eyes? Have I done that? Yes. But never to the point where it doesn't look like me.
If you use AI for a photo, all bets are off.
That's true.
Well,
all bets are off. AI photo generated. I can't do that.
The filters are AI too. I mean, it's the same kind of thing. This is such a problem today. At my daughter's preschool, there are two of her teachers that I did not know their names for like a year because of all the pictures of the teachers on the wall with their names. the photos had been so heavily filtered, they didn't even look like themselves at all. I was like, who is that lady? Like, I've never seen her before. Oh, that's my daughter's teacher?
Oh, yeah. That shouldn't happen. Or if they're putting.
Do they know what you do for a living, Chef? Are they listening right now?
They're busy
working.
with kids. By the way, they're fantastic teachers.
Okay, wait. I want to mention 2 text messages we got. Alexia says, Hinge, one of the dating sites, won't verify your profile picture if it is too filtered. That's news to me. I didn't know
awesome.
that. And then Nick, one of our favorite texters, says, okay, I want to see if you guys agree to this. Dang it, where'd it go?
As long as
editing dating photos is acceptable, it should be just as acceptable to stand up and walk out the second that you realize somebody has misrepresented themselves.
Agree.
Sure.
We need to hold on.
Objects
with
and mirror.
respect, Nick, you're the one that's out here single.
Oh, good point.
Your thoughts
on this dating scene out in Seattle?
No, just on pictures and editing pictures and all that.
It's a little shallow. I want to see the natural look of somebody at first. If you're going to Photoshop, if the majority of your profile is Photoshopped, that's a red flag. I'm swiping left on it. I want the organic photos, and you can tell if it's Photoshopped.
There you go.
All right. Moving on here, one more topic. Gee, I was reading an essay online about the death of daydreaming and how now that we have phones and every second that we're awake, we have the ability to entertain ourselves. Do you still daydream? Do you think people have lost something if they don't?
Not only do I daydream, lately I have been, I don't know what's going on, Ursula, but I remember my dreams now when I've been sleeping. So that's another story. But
you're sleeping deep.
Yeah, deep. So, but as far as daydreaming, I do it all the time, especially lately when I'm working out. And you want to know another time where I can quick daydream? When a lot of people tell stories, a lot of people don't know how to keep that thing short. So I can sometimes daydream when somebody's telling the story.
Oh, I see that all the time when I'm talking.
I see it all the time when G checks his watch.
even when I still point to your watch. You're doing. I'm like, I can tell that this was about 15 seconds too long. I've lost G.
No. In our profession and what we do, we don't have time to. I'm just talking about when you're out and just regular about. I mean, look, text in right now if you just know that one person that tells you a story and you're like, can you get to the point?
Is this going somewhere?
Is this going somewhere? And then they'll branch off. You're like, no!
Okay, but to the question about daydreaming, I do find it sad because all of us, especially kids today, need downtime. Yeah. It is important. That's when do you have time to invent? When do you have time to create? When do you have time to produce? If all of your free time is immediately going to your smartphone.
Good point. That's a good point.
Right? I mean, I think we just don't know how to bring it down a notch.
That's why we're blessed to do the show 3 hours every day. Before we go, we got an awesome segment coming up next. But before, Isabella texts in and says, I went on a date a few years ago. I pulled into the parking lot and a car pulled in about 2 cars down. The guy got out and vaguely looked like the person I was supposed to be meeting. I got out of my car and called out his name when he turned to me. I held up his profile picture and said, not the same guy. I got in my car and I went home.
Oh,
wow.
That's harsh.
Brutal. I like it.
Brutal. Okay, Ursula, what are we doing next? Everybody wants to know.
We said your Mount Rushmore of music, only Washington artists.
Yes.
Who would be on there?
Who would be on it?
And then we'll tell you about 2 local artists who are doing amazing
And for the record, Quincy Jones does not count. He's from Chicago. Oh, we'll do that next. Gee Ursula.
This hour is brought to you by DUI Heroes. The John Curley Show.
When I was shooting at a squirrel, I was like 10 years old. I traded out. It was a high-8 film that got confused with my mom and dad's high-8 films from Singapore. And it had a woman undressing, so it was like a nudie film. I didn't even think like I was going to miss, and it went right past the squirrel and hit my neighbor's great big picture window. He got me dead to rights.
John Curley, weekdays 3 to 7 on KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM.
Is your bathtub outdated? Maybe it is so grimy, even after you have cleaned it for hours, you just cannot get it clean. You need to do what our family did and call my friends at Bathfitter. Why Bathfitter? Well, I have done the research for you, and Bathfitter is simply the best. And here's why. At Bathfitter, they're going to handle the entire process from start to finish. They are locally owned. They're going to design your bath. They'll manufacture the materials, and they will install your bath themselves. They're not going to be relying on subcontractors. You're only going to be working with highly trained, trusted Bathfitter employees who've been creating dream bathrooms for so many years. When we had our bath installed, Bathfitter's designer came over to the house, and she helped me pick everything from the type of walls and tubs to the fixtures, the door styles and colors. It all came together so beautifully, and we were thrilled with the end result. And did I mention it was done in less than a day? Right now, they are offering 0% interest for 24 months, so now really is the perfect time to get that new dream bath. Call Bathfitter today or visit bathfitternw.com.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet, find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Get ready for Camping World's Red, White, and New Trade event, May 15th through the 18th. Get the highest value for your RV guaranteed during the biggest RV trade event of the year. Shop the best RV deals in America with new RVs starting as low as $92 a month. Get ready for the holiday weekend with up to 45% off grills and 25% off product installation. Plus, we'll have free hats, free propane refills, free food, and fun for the whole family. Don't miss the incredible Red, White, and New Trade event, May 15th through the 18th at your local Camping World.
See dealer for full details and disclaimer.
Safety comes first. When money is tight, Buc-ee's has you covered with available financing. For oil changes, wiper blades, brakes, tire rotation, tune-ups, and factory maintenance, it's Buc-ee's Complete Auto. No appointment necessary and financing's available. Check Buc-ee's.com for the location near you.
Hi, my name is Rajiv Nagaich. Ever since I became an elder law attorney more than 20 years ago, I've helped thousands of people in the Seattle area retire with more confidence about their future. I'd like to invite you to one of my retirement planning seminars this month. Learn how to protect your estate from long-term care costs. Live out your years where you choose, even if you get sick, without becoming a burden on people you love the most. Learn how to use the Safe Harbor Trust to protect your estate from threats most people overlook. Come to the seminar and I'll show you how it's done.
Join the free seminar in Federal Way on May 13th, Tacoma on May 15th, or Bellevue on May 17th. Register at lifepointlaw.com. That's lifepointlaw.com. Or call 253-838-3454. 253-838-3454.
Start having fun.
Caesars Sportsbook at Muckleshoot Casino Resort is your #1 place to eat, drink, watch, and have fun. Keep up with your favorite sports anywhere and everywhere on property with the mobile app. Visit muckleshootcasino.com today. Scan the QR code and let the play begin.
Muckleshoot. Charlie Harger here. When your hot turns to cold, you better think fast. Fast water heater. Call 1-800-THINK-FAST. That's 1-800-THINK-FAST or fastwaterheater.com. You better think fast. Fast water heater.
Why choose Care Partners Senior Living over in-home care? Amanda here. Care Partners communities are safer than your home, provide more socialization, and may be more affordable than in-home care. Find a Care Partners community in Washington or Arizona at carepartnersliving.com.
I just learned 10% of our electricity in Washington comes from nuclear energy.
I've heard it's reliable and has a small footprint, but what about the waste?
It's not what you might think. No overflowing dumpsters or leaking barrels. Used fuel is safely stored in solid form after powering homes, schools, and businesses for years. All nuclear power plants in the U.S. store their used fuel responsibly to protect the environment.
Where can I learn more?
You can learn about nuclear energy and used fuel at energy-northwest.com. Energy Northwest, powering our clean energy future.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Heather Bosch. Just in, the U.S. Supreme Court has ruled that President Trump can ban transgender people from serving in the military. This is at least until the courts decide whether or not that ban should become permanent. At a meeting at the White House today, Canada's newly elected prime minister pushed back against President Trump's assertion that Canada should become America's 51st state. Mark Carney, seated next to Trump, insisting,
as you know from real estate, there are some places that are never for sale.
Trump's response,
never say never. Never say never.
Among other topics, the two are expected to talk about Trump's tariffs. U.S. businesses continue to assess the impact of those tariffs. Mark Holcomb owns a toy store in North Carolina that gets a lot of products from China.
The fear is we're not going to have enough stock to sustain ourselves through the rest of the year because suppliers aren't going to have the inventory to ship.
He says some of his suppliers have already raised prices up to 35%. Here in Western Washington,
you cannot interfere with these officers. If you remain in the street, you can be subject to arrest.
Dozens of pro-Palestinian protesters face charges of trespassing, property destruction, and disorderly conduct after barricading themselves at a University of Washington engineering building last night. This protester telling KIRO 7 TV.
We would like to rid Boeing's influence from campus completely, as well as other companies that profit from war.
They were arrested last night. Their barricade is being cleaned up today. The deadline to get your real ID is tomorrow. Homeland Security today said you will still be able to fly with your old driver's license, but you'll undergo additional and time-consuming screening. Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem.
We will make sure that it is as seamless as possible and that travelers will get to stay on their intended itinerary.
You can also use your passport to get through a little more quickly. Amtrak President Roger Harris paid a visit to Seattle to inspect construction of a new maintenance facility in SoDo. It's going to accommodate the new Aero trains that will debut in Seattle next year.
It's really impressive, not only how much work has been done this quickly, but how large the facility is going to be. Certainly, as far as I know, currently on plan and on budget.
The 100,000 square foot building is expected to open in 2027. On Wall Street, the Dow is down almost 300 points, NASDAQ off 103. From the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Desk, in Kent, a crash is blocking a lane on State Route 167 northbound near 24th Street East. No significant backup just yet. Congestion easing across the board. Travel time, Everett to Seattle, half an hour. Federal Way to Seattle, 36 minutes, about 10 longer than typical. Renton to Bellevue, 25, about 5 longer than usual there. Traffic brought to you by 811. If you're digging in your yard, you're legally required to call 811 to avoid damaging utility lines. Call or go to digsafewa.com. This weather update brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Mostly sunny skies today with highs around 77. It's 65 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
It is 11:34. You are listening to the Gee and Ursula Show, and we're going to be talking about local artists because if you didn't hear the news yesterday, Monroe's Benson Boone is going to be taking center stage at Climate Pledge Arena on Sunday, October 5th. It is all part of his American Heart Tour. And I don't know if you have been following his meteoric rise in terms of being this popular musician, but this is one of his songs.
I found my mind, I'm feeling sane. It's been a while, but I'm finding my faith.
So he attended Monroe High School, born and raised here, and in 2021, I believe it was, he competed on American Idol, and it was just stunning because he shared that he had only been doing music for like a year, and he got quite a following on TikTok, and then he was doing really well in the competition, but he actually dropped out because it was like, I think he was getting offers already and figured he could do it on his own. And so now a lot of people are comparing him to like the Freddie Mercury.
Oh, really?
And he kind of tries to look like him a little bit, dresses very flashy. He was on Monroe's diving team, so he does all these crazy acrobatics as part of his show.
Right.
And in any case, I mean, he is like one of the it musicians right now.
Right.
And he's local. And then there's another one who is doing really well, and her name is Lucia Flores Wiseman, and you can see her on The Voice, and she's actually one of the 8 semifinalists. So she's made it almost to the very end here. And if the name sounds familiar, she's from Maple Valley, and she was on our show during the pandemic.
Right.
And she would perform at different coffee shops. And check this out because she actually covered Benson Boone's song during The Voice last month.
While your world is spinning now, so slow it down, take a moment now, we're too young to drown, baby.
I mean, I'm getting goosebumps because her voice is incredible.
She can sing.
She really can sing. So, but while we're talking about musicians, because I was thinking, man, we have had so many local musicians who make it big.
Right.
Who really make a big impact in the music world. So the question is, if you were to put together your Mount Rushmore of Washington musicians, who would be there?
Right. I have 4. I'm going to put 2 that, I'm sorry, I just don't feel like they can be argued. I would bet everything I own, and this is one I will fight to the end with this one.
Okay.
Sir Mix-a-Lot.
That's who's on there for you?
Sir Mix-a-Lot. Okay. You can't go anywhere in the world.
Okay.
The next one, Jimi Hendrix.
Yes.
Now, the next 2 are debatable.
Okay.
But I'm going to go ahead and play it safe for the next 2. Nirvana, Pearl Jam.
Okay. So just as the groups versus Kurt Cobain.
Right.
Okay. Because I had Kurt Cobain, Jimi Hendrix, Ann and Nancy Wilson from Heart.
Okay.
Okay. This may be controversial, but I'm going to say Music Impact, Kenny G, and then one just a personal favorite, Brandi Carlile.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
Who I love. I love her music. But, what about Bing Crosby?
Bing Crosby, yeah, that's a big one. So some of you all, can you really argue Sir Mix-a-Lot? Like, Sir Mix-a-Lot.
Yeah, I can, because how many hits did he have?
Can you name one other Sir Mix-a-Lot song?
I only have,
aside from Baby Got Back.
And Posse's on Broadway. I mean,
yeah, that's two.
Listen. What I'm saying is you could play Nirvana or Pearl Jam somewhere across the world.
How about Foo Fighters, by the way?
You play Baby Got Back.
Yeah. Everyone knows it.
Everyone knows it. So as far as hits, like I love Kenny G. As a matter of fact, I'll listen to Kenny G before I listen to Sir Mix-a-Lot. I'm just trying to say, you want to talk about huge impact. Like,
how about Macklemore? Macklemore, everyone recognizes a Macklemore song.
Macklemore will never touch what Sir Mix-a-Lot has done. I mean, Sir Mix-a-Lot is still big. He made that song 40-some years ago. Still rocking.
Yeah, I think with Sir Mix-a-Lot, it's less about the songs that he made and more about the time and era that he came from. Because with my Rushmore, it's more about the time that they came in and how they were pioneers of their genre. I'm going to start with Kurt Cobain because he was the leader of grunge music in the 90s. You know, you got Heart and Pearl Jam, but he was the guy, he was the populist that everybody knew. And then there was Jimi Hendrix in the 60s with rock and roll. And I'm going to throw Sir Mix-a-Lot on my Mount Rushmore too because he was a pioneer of hip-hop. He was one of the first to create that genre and that type of music. And then finally, I'm going to throw Bing Crosby in there because he's one of the originals in this region. But I got a Kenny Tower too because I want to throw in Kenny Loggins and Kenny G. So a separate little honorary note of them.
Kenny Loggins, that was another one. Do you know today? I was today years old. Not even joking. How is it that I didn't know Bing Crosby was local from Tacoma?
It's just so long ago.
But I'd argue that the state of Washington, it's really hard to get on the Mount Rushmore. There's so much competition.
And what is it about our state? Seriously, because I looked at the list. I mean, the list went on and on and on.
Right. Yeah, it's crazy. Now, Ursula, when is the first time you heard "Baby Got Back"?
Wasn't it in the 80s?
Yeah,
I mean, I was in college.
I'm just saying,
you can't
I didn't
help but
even know
dance.
where Seattle was. I'm back home in Chicago singing "Posse's on Broadway." I had no idea. Oh, that's a real street. Oh, okay. Like that is huge. But I'll argue this. It's fair you could argue Sir Mix-a-Lot, some of you all, but that's fine. Nobody's arguing Jimi Hendrix, right?
Foo Fight. Everyone put Rolling Stone called him the best guitarist of all time.
Yeah, nobody's arguing.
No.
Can I give you a couple names that I bet none of you have ever heard of? Steve Rodby used to play with Pat Metheny. He's won 14 Grammys.
Ooh.
He's a jazz bassist and producer. Mark O'Connor, 3 Grammys, 6-time Country Music Association Musician of the Year from Mountlake Terrace. He's a violinist.
You're right. Have not
never heard of those guys.
Mm-mm. But how about Dave Grohl from Nirvana? Nirvana.
But my argument with that is there's no Foo Fighters without Nirvana. So I think Kurt Cobain, he tops that, you know.
That's true.
No,
That's
Quincy,
true.
Quincy Jones is.
I know. How come you're not?
Chicago.
No, he's not. He was raised here. He was born in Chicago, raised here.
You mean when you lived in Chicago, everyone took claim for Quincy?
Hey, Quincy Jones is from Chicago.
Oh.
That's good fun.
I can't really argue that Quincy Jones is mine when I'm arguing with you, G.
All right, everybody. That was a fun topic. Text messages, feedback, and then we'll have Ursula's words to live by.
KIRO News Radio is right there with you.
A big story developing this morning.
On your smart speaker before you head out the door.
Get the latest live from KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey.
Huge impacts for Boeing and Boeing workers.
The office, the gym, anywhere.
Water, like taxes, goes all the way down to the bottom, so it'll either come out of the employee's paycheck or the lack of raise.
KIRO News Radio. We're on YouTube, our app, your smart speaker, and 97.3 FM.
I love delivery.
How so?
Nearly anything delivered to me. Just a click or call away.
Something, same day.
Right.
Everything you want.
Well, not quite everything.
Oh?
If only I could have more hot water delivered.
Running short?
My water heater.
Getting old?
Guess so.
Good news.
What?
We deliver hot water same day.
Wait.
Apollo Plumbing same day water heater replacement.
Right. You're Dan.
You call, we come.
I'm in hot water.
In a good way.
Same day?
We'll pull out the old
and put in the new.
You can even upgrade to a tankless water heater.
So I'm never out of hot water again.
Zip, zam, zoom, just like that.
Only thing?
Yeah?
My budget's a wee snug.
No worries. Apollo offers easy payments.
On water heaters.
With approved credit, sure.
Same day.
A big blue Apollo truck can be on its way.
Easy payments.
So you can replace that old one now.
And you'll haul away the old one?
Of course.
Told you I love home delivery.
Sure.
Gotta love Apollo Plumbing, too.
Just doing our job.
Same day water heater replacement.
ApolloPlumbing.com.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you out, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Hey, Assistant Smokey Bear. Call me Papa Bear, because I'm grilling up dinner.
Did you get it?
Yes, good job.
So, what should I do with all these coals?
Don't just toss them out. Put them in a metal container because those embers can start a wildfire.
I understand. The stakes are high.
Ha, 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 ha.
Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
I can't believe how spotless my floors look after using the Swiffer Power Mop. No more dragging around a heavy mop and messy bucket. Now I get the same deep clean without all the work. Thanks to the powerful solution and scrubbing pad of the Swiffer Power Mop, dirt and grime don't stand a chance, and I don't break a sweat. Mic drop. Mop drop.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
A smarter way to mop. Try it or your money back.
An illegal alien from Guatemala charged with raping a child in Massachusetts. An MS-13 gang member from El Salvador accused of murdering a Texas man. A Venezuelan charged with filming and selling child pornography in Michigan. These are just some of the heinous migrant criminals caught because of President Donald J. Trump's leadership. I'm Kristi Noem, the United States Secretary of Homeland Security. Under President Trump, attempted illegal border crossings are at the lowest levels ever recorded, and over 100,000 illegal aliens have been arrested. If you are here illegally, you're next. You will be fined nearly $1,000 a day, imprisoned, and deported. You will never return. But if you register using our CBP Home app and leave now, you could be allowed to return legally. Do what's right. Leave now. Under President Trump, America's laws, border, and families will be protected.
Sponsored by the United States Department of Homeland Security.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Hi, it's John Curley. Longevity Medical Clinic has been helping people live longer, healthier lives for more than 25 years. I've recently talked with Dr. Mixon about his approach to proactively focusing on prevention. Dr. Mixon, I first met you in 2009, and I went in there and I told you I wasn't feeling well, couldn't gain any muscle mass, couldn't sleep well, I was stressed out, and you looked at me and you said, yeah, I know what your problem is.
And all we did was we measured your values and we moved your values back to those of a nice, healthy 25-year-old man.
I have taken your blood work to my doctor, and he was shocked. He couldn't believe the depth in which you study my blood.
We need to draw a distinction between living a long time and getting old. And that's what longevity is all about, is we are here to do the measurements and help you fix those problems.
So get your free health analysis. Go to LongevityMedicalClinic.com. That's LongevityMedicalClinic.com.
Save on a 2-night getaway to beautiful Victoria, BC with the FRS Clipper Spring Sale. Travel car-free on the Clipper Fast Ferry and stay at a charming downtown hotel. Up to 20% off. Save during Clipper Spring Sale at FRSClipper.com.
Safety comes first. When money is tight, don't neglect maintenance on your vehicle. Keep it safe. At Bucky's Complete Auto, we have you covered with available financing. For over 50 years, Bucky's Complete Auto has been servicing and repairing cars and trucks with modern-day technology and good old-fashioned customer service. There's a Bucky's just about everywhere for oil changes, wiper blades, brakes, tire rotation, tune-ups, and factory maintenance. No appointment necessary and financing's available. Check Bucky's.com for the location near you.
It's Gee and Ursula, everybody. Welcome into the show. What a show has been, and what a show has been. A lot of fun in the 11:30 segment, talking about everyone's Mount Rushmore and everything.
I think there were a couple of names that were consistent. Jimi Hendrix being one.
Yeah.
Kurt Cobain
Yep.
being the other.
Mm-hmm.
Then beyond that, there's a lot of debate.
Yeah.
Would you say?
Yeah.
Was there anyone that? Yeah.
A lot of it. Jimi Hendrix was.
Yeah.
That's it.
That is it.
That's it.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get to these text messages, Ursula. What you got for us?
Well, let's start. Are we starting there? Scenarios. The person who wrote in and said, I wet the bed at my boyfriend's place and I blamed the dog.
Is that wait? Is that Annette K? She didn't really say that. Annette K sent that in?
Yes.
I'm not reading that.
I'm not reading that either.
I'm not reading
Annette,
that.
We hear you. We see you.
Annette, come on, Annette.
Basically, Annette is referring to other spots that end up in the bed. On the question of who gets to be fully American, and if you missed any part of that segment, I strongly suggest that you go back on our podcast. Jesus says, I hate terms like Mexican American, African American, and Asian American. Those terms just basically mean not white. I'm an American of Puerto Rican descent. I am not a Puerto Rican American. I didn't serve in the military to be considered less than or other than an American. Jesus, that's a great point.
206 says the only folks who can claim to be fully American are the indigenous peoples who were in this land for thousands of years, and no one teaches how very many nations existed between our borders before the arrival of Leif Erikson, who discovered the North American continent before Columbus's exploitation.
Robin Puyallup says, this is regarding the Justice Department opening an investigation into Washington's new mandatory reporting law for the clergy. Robin Puyallup says, I've got a question for the DOJ. Weren't you just threatening to go after churches for harboring undocumented immigrants? So let me get this straight. Religious abuse of children, good. Religious protections of undocumented immigrants, bad.
206 says, disagree with several of your points about the clergy being mandated to report. You speak as though you have a basic grasp of the sacrament.
If you listen back to that segment, you will hear that I said, I don't know that Washington's law is going to withstand further scrutiny, in particular by the Supreme Court.
Yeah, but I do have a grasp of all the billions of dollars that the Catholic Church has paid because of turning a blind eye and just shipping and transferring some of the Catholic priests that were molesting kids. I have a grasp on that one.
Mm-hmm. And Nate the Barber says, if you look at the history of Christianity, it never tells believers that they have to confess to another man. It says, confess unto the Lord your sins. The idea of the Catholic confession, and even in the original Orthodox Christian church that existed before the Catholic Church, confession is a man-made created ritual with good intentions. However, it also says in the Bible to follow the laws of the land. Further, if you confess a crime to your priest and you don't turn yourself in, I'm pretty sure that God above would judge that cannot truly be sorry for something that you're not willing to be held accountable for.
Solomon in Seattle says, ask those opposed to this bill if they support Muslim leaders having confidentiality.
On the new Amtrak trains coming, Elliot on a ship in Texas says, wow, the train is the best way to get to BC. You cruise right across the border with no wait and then clear customs at Pacific Central Station in downtown Vancouver. Great point. And I love the fact that Elliot's listening on a ship.
Okay. Mike in Edmond says, about Rite Aid closing, TJ in Gold Bar says, so what are those of us whose insurance does not cover mail order prescriptions? What are we supposed to do?
Mike in Edmond says, my housemate is a type 1 diabetic and he cannot get his insulin mailed to him.
Michael in Puyallup says, what about the people who are homeless that still need medications? If they close all the stores, how do they get their drugs?
And then on the favorite small businesses that are worth a trip, David in Puyallup says Carolina Smoked Barbecue in Bothell would be worth the drive from Pierce County.
All right, Ursula, it is now time for your words to live by. Okay. Annette K just texted in and said, and you know it's true. Annette, I am done with you today.
we need to make sure we keep our jobs. We need to make sure the mic still works tomorrow. This is a family show. Anyway, loved all your text messages about different places to visit, and you gave us quite the list. We should figure out a way to share that on our Facebook page, by the way. Okay, this quote has to do with the topic of lying, and that's prompted from our scenarios today.
I'll pee in the bed.
This is an unknown author who says, lies might win the moment, but truth sustains the relationship for a lifetime. Gotta remember that.
Yep.
Truth always wins.
And
How you do anything is how you do everything.
And the truth,
and
by
it
the
never
way,
expires.
A lot of y'all hit me with all kinds of G-isms.
Practice what you preach.
Annette's text never's going to expire either.
Oh, Nick, what do you got?
Well, the hottest day in 2025 is feeling nice as we're still just getting used to thawing out our winter ice. And luckily, there's no hot mess today at SEA with the thought you'd maybe get turned down with wrong IDs displayed.
And I think it's gonna be a long, long time.
But don't get too stressed out if you think flights aren't in your cards. There's no need to wet the bed and blame the dog out in the yard. And I'm seeing the dog has the right ID, so I think your scapegoat is out of the house, too. Good luck with that.
Poor dog.
Poor dog. All right, Ursula, what you got going on rest of the day? What's Steven going to have you doing today?
Today, I'm on my own, but I am actually going to be meeting with a friend and my sister.
Okay.
Actually, 2 friends and my sister, and we're going to enjoy a beautiful time in Edmonds.
Nice.
Yes. How about you?
Let's see. I'm going to leave here. I'm going to go to the gym and get some steps in on the treadmill, get a little running in. And then I'm going to head home, shower, and do nothing. I don't want to do anything.
You can do it outside?
Nope.
Enjoy this.
Nope.
What?
Nope. I'm going outside. I'm not going outside. I'm really distracted. Annette K just ended the show for us today.
And no
She's
one
in
knows
the
what you're
corner right
talking
now.
about. We put Annette in the corner.
Yeah, Annette's in the corner. Thanks, Ursula.
Thank
See you
you.
tomorrow. Thank you, Chef. Appreciate all your work, brother. Thank you. Nick, always appreciate you, my man.
You too, man.
Hey, the Jake and Spike Show, they're coming in next. Make sure you stick around. Appreciate you for listening. Love you for that. And as always, be kind.
Hope you had as much fun as we have. So long, everybody.
It's just my job 5 days a week. A rocket man. A rocket man.
At Les Schwab, we've been changing the tire game for more than 70 years. Our Go the Extra Mile service means more hustle, less hassle. We design our own exclusive tires to give you more tires made for the road you drive, less compromise. All backed by America's best tire warranty included with every tire we sell. We're talking more unbeatable tire warranty, less charging you extra, like the other guys. It's why you get more from less. Book an appointment at leschwab.com.
Hey, Spike O'Neill for Sharp Vision, Modern LASIK, and Lens. About 2 months ago, I finally given up to the fact that I wasn't as young as I used to be, and my eyeballs were not as young as I used to be. It didn't work as well as I always had perfect vision in my life, but I noticed deterioration, so I went to the folks at Sharp Vision, Modern LASIK, and Lens, had a full eye exam. They do amazing work, and it was determined that by their very excellent staff, I had the beginnings of cataract, and I was a perfect candidate for refractive lens exchange, RLE surgery. Now, the folks at Sharp Vision, Modern LASIK, and Lens have done over 80,000 successful lens replacement surgeries. So I was in great hands. My care team from start to finish put me at ease, answered all my questions. The procedure was easy. I was in and out in less than an hour. And within a couple of weeks, my recovery was complete. I've got 20/10 vision. Colors are brighter, more focused. I'll never need readers again, and I will never develop a cataract. They are the future of vision over 45. Give the folks at Sharp Vision, Modern LASIK, and Lens a call. 425-451-2020. That's 425-451-2020 or online at sharp-vision.com. Sharp with an E-vision.com. Official eye care providers of Sounders FC.
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit, accurate auto body.
If you've been in an auto accident, you have the right to take